Okay, we're going to start this meeting at 6:02. If we can start the recording, please. Barbara's here too.
Turn on the camera.
All right, yes, turn on the camera. All right. So first, can I get someone to make a motion to approve the agenda, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Fernanda. Is there a second? Thank you, Leslie. All those in favor of the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Oops, sorry. All those opposed? Okay, we have an agenda. Great. Communications with parents, citizens, and staff. I see there are a lot of you tonight. We are going to try and keep you to 2 minutes apiece if possible. And then we will go from there. So all I ask is that when you stand up that you give your name so that Amber can get that. And if you have anything that you're reading from, if you provide that to the clerk before you sit down. Okay? So who would like to go first? Okay.
Alicia Millay. Let's see. So I did just want to approach the open meeting law violation, and I know that was kind of doubled down on.
Point of order, we've already determined that there was no open meeting law violation, so I object to the language.
Well, I'd like to continue because there was, talked to the Vermont School Board Association and the Secretary of State's office that all confirmed that this was an open meeting violation. And the only thing with the attorney, the only piece that was correct, that per the Articles of Agreement, Post Act 46, that yes, if a program is being moved and the building is not closed, then the board does have the authority to vote to do that without it going to a district-wide vote, but it still needs to be warned properly. That doesn't change the needing to be warned properly. So, and I have all the states. That's within 1 VSA 312 D3. And then members of the public have the right to enforce the open meeting law themselves by filing suit in court, and that's 1 VSA 314. And that can be done within a year. So it's opening the school district up to litigation. And then I went back through meeting minutes. Can I have it? Because I keep every piece of paper. This was done because I know there was a concern with one board member that this was going to set a precedent if you rescinded this vote that was done without being properly warned. There already is a precedent set in which to do that because in 2018, there was a motion made by Dick White and seconded by Martin Feld to move Caverly Preschool to Lothrop School. That was in 2018. It was also shown to be done in violation of open meeting law. It wasn't on the agenda. And so obviously Caverly did not get moved. And then I know there's a lot of people that want to speak, so I was just going to address that piece with the vote. The Pittsford Select Board did vote unanimously. I want to pass those around. There's only 4 signatures because by the time it got printed, one of our members had something tragic just happen to them today and was unable to sign, but it is in the minutes that it was voted unanimously that the Pittsford Select Board would like to keep Caverly where it is and all the important reasons on why that is. That it's good for attracting and keeping young families in town. There's no financial reason to move it. There's no benefit to the children. And, that services piece just kind of came up after the fact. It's always been talked about during the budget, which is also the piece that was used to try to confirm that there was no open meeting violation because even though Caverly wasn't on the agenda, we should have known that it was under the budget discussion. So now reverting and saying it's just for ease of services just doesn't seem right. And then finally, I did not make 13 copies of this because there's a lot of papers, but I do have 380 confirmed by the town clerk's signatures of people who would like that motion to be rescinded. Thank you.
Thanks, Alicia. Who's next?
Like to speak?
Sure.
Joanne, did you, first of all, did the board get the email? Okay. Would you like me to read it for the public? Or
If you would like to read it,
okay.
sure, go ahead.
Joanne Pye, I started Caverly in 1989. I was hired by the school. I'm just going to read what I wrote. That way I feel like I've accomplished all of the bullets that I wanted to. In 1989, I was hired by the Rutland Northeast School District to start a preschool program at the Caverly Building in Pittsford. It was 6 months to create and license this program under the direction of the Early Childhood Special Education Department. Throughout this initial process, and the ensuing 25 years I was the teacher director, the Rutland Northeast Supervisory Union, the Lothrop School, and the school board and the Pittsburgh community supported and valued this program, so much so that it became a statewide example for all the hallmarks of a developmentally appropriate program. Recognized by the State Board of Education. Since my retirement in 2010, Caverly has continued to offer the same exemplary program for 3 to 5-year-olds with continued community support. What is developmentally appropriate for 3 to 5-year-olds? Caverly checks all these boxes. One-room school with adequate space for large and small motor activities for 3 to 5-year-olds. A protected location that offers a natural, peaceful environment with a safe, fenced-in play area, which has evolved over the years, access to trails, woods, meadows, fields, and the Pittsford recreation area, a natural world for exploration and fun, an opportunity for child-centered, nature-based learning, a welcoming space for 3 to 5-year-olds and their families' first experience in the world of education, continued generational community support because it offers the best opportunity for our young learners, safely tucked behind the Pittsburgh town offices. The Lothrop School welcomes these young learners when they're ready to begin kindergarten, but it is not developmentally appropriate for 3 to 5-year-olds. 3 to 5-year-olds do not benefit from the specials, quote unquote, such as music, phys ed, library time, as their time together should not be interrupted by lining up and moving to another room. To add another developmentally appropriate play space for 3 to 5-year-olds within the Lothrop playground, it would only add stress that the 3 to 5-year-olds cannot play on the big playground because of state regulations. To access the natural world environment, they would have to go off campus, so it probably wouldn't happen. Waiting in line to drop off and pick up at the beginning and the end of each day is a stress that is not necessary for 3 to 5-year-olds and their families. Moving to a classroom, quote unquote, rather than having the space of a one-room school set up specific to their needs is a no-brainer. You as a board and administrators have the opportunity to continue to support these young learners and their families, their first experience in education, by recognizing the importance of keeping Caverly Preschool open and thriving. Please understand that the success of this program over the past 35 years is recognized by many children who are now adults and parents themselves, as well as the greater Pittsburgh community. Respectfully, Joanne Potter.
Here, here.
Eric?
Come here. So,
You don't have to stand,
You
Eric.
don't have to
if you
stand.
I want to.
Okay, fair enough.
Eric Pearson's Pittsburgh, former colleague of many of you. I've joined the school board in Pittsburgh, I forget what year. Either way, I was the one who saved Calvary, was it 2012 or 2013, on the chopping block. Then we said, what's your plan to move all these kids? A little note, we're gonna move them. Not only was I on the school board, but I was also ended up being facilities director, Pittsburgh School District. I'm the only expert in this room. It has to be maintained. Everything. It has to be turnkey, ready to educate kids. I am not a fan of people trying to further careers or whatever. All are consolidated. $13,000 savings is all you're going to save 13 grand? Absolutely no. I know. This is no different than your grandpa is in the nursing home. And the nursing home calls, oh, we're closing the nursing home, we're going to move him to another one. By the way, shut up and ask me any questions. Well, what's going to happen to grandpa? Don't worry about it. I mean, seriously. There's no savings. There's none. None. And then, has the fire department come to Walter, evaluated that classroom, looked at the exits for these kids, those hard stairs down there. I went to school there 40 whatever years ago. And then the back. Kids this tall. How are they going to get out in an emergency situation? There's been no planning whatsoever done in anything, that's what I've heard, and it's ridiculous. If you're going to plan to move a school, I don't want to see a Denny's placemat that says, we're going to move the school. I want to see a book. Has anyone called the fire department? Have them look. You have to check with them. The fire department can come in and turn that school off. No, you're done. That's what happened the last time. 13, 14, whatever years ago. We're going to put these kids in the basement. Fire chief said, you better not. I'll shut the damn place down. They have the right. They have the legal authority. Has anyone planned anything? Would you send your grandma to a nursing home and then a month later, we're closing it now, shut up, don't ask any questions. We're moving her. It does not take guts to vote for what is right. It takes common sense. I'm gonna miss you, Penny.
Thank you, Eric. Who's next?
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
You have a last name? Sorry.
Hill, sorry.
That's okay.
Just-
How about last name, please?
Savings, Mike, savings.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Savings.
Continue. I want Kimberly to stay where it's at because I do not want my child from 3 to 5 right on Route 7. The town is posted at 25 miles an hour. We live right in the center of town. People pass on Route 7 in front of our house. We're a few houses away from the school. It is not a safe zone there. Kids that young need to be away from the road. If you're adding that many more children to a facility, it's not maintained enough. One little crosswalk, nobody pays attention to. I walk my dog up and down that road all the time. Nobody stops for the crosswalk, even with the flashing lights. The safety thing, I don't really know how the school is set up, so I'm going off of the stair thing. I can't imagine my little boy trying to walk down the stairs at 3 to 5 years old. You know, it's just too close to the road. Nobody drives through Pittsburgh like they're supposed to. It's just not safe.
Thank you.
I'll speak.
Sure, go ahead.
My name is Jennifer Brittingham. Last month was my first time attending a school board meeting. One thing that stood out to me immediately, public comment happens at the very beginning of the meeting, and during that time, board members appear disengaged, looking down, not responding, and not actively listening. It felt as though the structure is designed so that you can turn on only after public comments are finished. Like that's the beginning of the meeting. I offer this as an observation, not an accusation, but if the purpose of public comment is truly to hear from the community, I believe the format deserves rethinking. Last meeting, there was a lot of talking over each other from board members during the meeting, and I was extremely confused about what was happening, and to the point where I really needed clarification, and I had asked what is happening, and I was snapped at for even asking a question. And it's just wrong. That's not the way a meeting should be. If we have questions during a meeting, we should be able to ask that. We should be able to contribute more during a meeting like this. I've been part of boards. Never have I been in a meeting or boards where public comment is only in the beginning. That's just wrong. Still, I'm asking you to truly hear what I'm saying before taking a final vote on this Caverly situation. You have stated clearly that it is a decision and it's not based on money. You have also stated that the purpose of this move is to benefit children by improving access to resources at Lothrop. The principal explained that if the program were moved, It would have access to the gymnasium, cafeteria, library, music, and art rooms, therapists and counselors all within the building. But the reality is that all these resources are already accessible to Calverley students and families. The gymnasium would be a pretty good benefit. It's a gym. It would be good for having indoor space. I acknowledge that. But the cafeteria, have you been to the Lathrop cafeteria? It is not designed for 3 or 4-year-olds. The benches, the tables are all connected. There's no way it can be adjusted. So are we buying new tables and chairs? Where are we storing them? You're pretty much saying the kids are not going to be using the cafeteria and the lunches will be delivered to their classroom, as it already is for Calverley. So the cafeteria, not a resource, not a benefit. The library, do we really want 3 and 4-year-olds taking home library books? It probably will get damaged before it even gets home. I barely want my 2nd grader to bring home library books, to be honest. And Miss Tate is a great librarian. Again, are they traveling from... We have no plan. You have given us no answers on how this day-to-day basis is going to be for our kids. They're not, from what I've heard, they're not going to be allowed in the basement. That's where art and music is. So that, again, not a resource going to be given to these kids. And they're already, it was stated by the principal that the music and art teacher go to Calverley once a month. And of course, their teacher, Miss Kayla, is already licensed and completely capable of giving them the art and music during when those teachers aren't there. The therapy and counseling, if I'm having trouble with one of my kids, I'm going to talk to Miss Kayla. And then Miss Kayla is going to talk to the therapist or social worker or whoever, and we're going to make a meeting. And that's going to happen at whatever time it needs to happen. And that can already happen. It's already a resource. It's there. It's available. So I don't understand where these benefits that you're talking about is happening. I don't see it, not as a parent. And one major thing, which was not really discussed, was the playground. The one answer the principal gave was it would be minimal. Minimal in what? Fine in how much it's going to cost? In the size of it? Where is this playground going to go? On the sledding hill? On the field where the rec uses for extra games for soccer and baseball or field day? Are we taking away space from the other students? Where is this playground going to go? By the parking lot? And like Miss Pye said, the kids are going to see the other playground and want to go on it. You're going to be stressing them out on a daily basis. Another issue is, to me, it's a huge major safety factor. Seriously, think about the size of just the stairs. You're talking about little 3-year-olds going to be doing this, going up and down stairs. They can't reach doors. The doors are heavy. They can't reach the water fountains. Nothing is built for toddlers in that building, which it shouldn't be because it's not meant for toddlers. So you're talking about trying to build their confidence. This is their first experience with education, and they're walking into a building that's not built for them, and then going into a bubble, a safe place into their classroom, and that's it? That's where they get to feel safe? Is in a small little classroom? You're restricting them from where they are in Calverley. The whole space is theirs, and it's meant for them, with people their size. You're talking about putting 3-year-olds with 12-year-olds. What happens if they are somehow miraculously traveling through the building and a 12-year-old comes up and accidentally pushes a 3-year-old? How are you keeping our kids safe from these type of scenarios? None of this has been discussed. And there was a comment made last meeting that someone was thinking 10 to 15 years into the future. Let's just think 1 year into the future. Did you guys know that Pittsford Village Barn is getting a preschool program? They're building a whole brand new preschool program from the ground up, built for children, for 3 and 4-year-olds specifically. Do you think parents who have the choice to put them in a program that's built for them, with children their size, in a safe, calm environment, or to put them in a school with older children in a building that's not built for them, which one do you think they're going to choose? You're going to lose enrollment. So please rethink this. This is not what's best for our children. It is not what's best for the children. And that's what this should be about. Thank you.
Some of you know me. My name is Melanie Clarahue, and I was a teacher at Lothrop for 33 years. 21 of those, I was a kindergarten teacher. I was the receiving teacher that came from Caverly, from the children that came from Caverly. They absolutely love Caverly. The first 4 to 5 months of kindergarten, all I heard was, "Oh, I want to go back to Caverly." The bathrooms alone, even in the kindergarten classroom, the toilet's too high, it makes too much noise, the sink is too high. It's just not appropriate. It hasn't been, and I have been through this probably 3 or 4 times with different boards. People always think it's a good idea to bring the kids over to the school. It's not. Caverly is the perfect place for 3 and 4-year-old children. My own daughter, who is 40, went to Caverly. She still has such fond memories of that, and now she has a 4-year-old daughter. She wishes she could send her daughter to Caverly. There are school districts all over this country that would die for a place like Caverly. It is perfect. Please, don't take this away from the children, from their parents, and also think about the kindergarten teacher that's going to receive them. They are so much better prepared when they go to Caverly. They build a community. They feel safe. They have worked through a lot of social interactions. So when they finally come to the big school, they can actually settle down and begin to learn. They don't need to know a lot of academics before kindergarten. They need to learn how to get along, how to work together, how to pay attention and focus on things, and they can do that in their own little environment in Caverly. I beg you, please do not move Caverly to Lothrop. I have all the experience of knowing how precious it is for children. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm Martha Kapraszewski. I taught at Manchester Elementary for 40 years. Most of the 34 of those years were kindergarten, pre-K. When I taught kindergarten, the expectations for kindergarten, the licensing requirements, the room size are all different from first grade and second grade and the other grades. For pre-K, they're even stricter and need more. They won't allow certain things that they allow in kindergarten or in first grade. And I had the opportunity to see what preschool came into our school in the Manchester Elementary. And the changes we had to make to accommodate those precious little ones was far more than should have happened. My granddaughter went to Cavalry. The first time I walked into Cavalry, I felt the coziness, the warmth, the children were ecstatic, they were happy, they were safe, You could see everyone visually, the toilets were accessible, everything was perfectly matched for little guys. And that's what we need to maintain. Developmentally appropriate for preschool is an entirely different thing than developmentally appropriate in a big school. And if you're going from pre-K to kindergarten, you need, pre-K's a whole different ball of wax. We took them to specials at Manchester when I had pre-K. Pre-K is music, math, art, science. We do it all. So taking them to the gym was lining them up, bringing them down the hall, and Manchester's not a small school, and lining them up. Now, we did it. But when you have a place like Calvary, yeah, as she said, you would die. Any other town would die for that. Would just absolutely die for that. And I don't want to see that lost. I came because my granddaughter is now in 6th grade at Lothrop. So I love Lothrop. But Calvary needs to stay as pre-K. 3 and 4-year-olds, big. Just don't mess with them. So please. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ready? Yep. My name is Mike Carter from Pittsford. I've been a resident of Pittsford my whole life. I attended Caverly Preschool. Thank you, Miss Pye. I attended Lothrop Elementary School. Thank you, Miss Clary. And I graduated Otter Valley class of 2011. Today, my wife and I have a 3-year-old son enrolled at Caverly, and he is thriving. I'm here tonight to express several concerns regarding the decision to move the preschool program from Caverly to Lothrop. I'm speaking tonight as a parent first, but also as a taxpayer to voice serious concerns about a decision that directly impacts our children and our community. Caverly has been a staple in this community for nearly half a century. Families have moved to Pittsford and the surrounding areas specifically so their child could receive early education provided at Caverly. As you all know, early education is the cornerstone for a child's development and lays the groundwork for the rest of their lives. With that in mind, I'm struggling to understand how moving the preschool program from Caverly to Lothrop benefits anyone in the community other than perhaps school administrators. At the last meeting, Lothrop's principal, Ms. Farrington, stated that children would have access to more resources such as music and art rooms if the program was moved to Lothrop. Respectfully, our children already have access to both music and art at Caverly. Nearly every week, my son comes home singing a new song he learned with his classmates, thanks to the incredible teachers at Caverly, and our refrigerator is nearly out of space from all of the artwork he proudly displays. In my recent visits to Lothrop with the fire department, I have noticed that the music room is still in the basement, and the art room, at least last time I was there, was on the 2nd floor, exactly where they were when I attended Lothrop over 25 years ago. Do we really believe that it's appropriate for 3 and 4-year-old children to be going up and down multiple flights of stairs when they sometimes struggle to stay upright on flat ground? I certainly don't. It was also mentioned that children would have access to supervised field trips to the village farm by walking up Arch Street, across Kamuta's busy parking lot, and onward to the farm. This raises serious safety concerns. While Arch Street may not be Route 7, it's still a road where motorists frequently speed and use it as a shortcut. Having 3 and 4-year-old children walking along the road seems the furthest thing from a good idea. Generations of children in this town and surrounding areas have benefited from more than 40 acres of wooded land, trails, and fields that surround Caverly. Just last week when I picked up my son from school, he excitedly told me about finding and following deer tracks during a nature walk. That moment became a learning opportunity. These kinds of experiences simply cannot be replicated at Lothrop. Another major concern is the lack of appropriate playground at Lothrop. Caverly not only has ample outdoor space, but it also has a fenced-in playground with equipment that is age-appropriate and up to code for preschoolers. Has this even been discussed during these meetings or among the administrators making these decisions? Additionally, has congestion on Pleasant Street seriously been addressed? Vehicles are already lined up along the street during drop-off and more so during pickup times. This congestion creates significant safety hazard, not only for parents and young children navigating between vehicles, but also for emergency responders who rely on clear, immediate access. During these peak times, visibility is reduced, traffic flow is restricted, and the margin for error is extremely small. As I mentioned earlier, I am a member of the Pittsburgh Fire Department, though I am speaking solely for myself. In my nearly 15 years responding to emergencies, I have lost count on the number of times I have personally had to instruct people not to park in front of the firehouse so that apparatus could safely enter and exit. Access during school pickup hours is already a serious concern. Adding 10 or more additional vehicles to an already congested area increases the risk of delayed emergency response, which could have real and potentially life-threatening consequences. I do not see how this increased risk has been adequately acknowledged or responsibly addressed. Finally, it seems that much of the justification for this centers around making things easier for the staff. It has been stated that staff currently have to drive to interact with the preschoolers. Yet, it has also been said that if the program is moved, staff would be able to bring students back and forth to Caverly, using it as an outside classroom. If finding time for a 2-minute drive is an issue for the staff now, how will there be enough time and staffing to bring a whole class to this building, use it for a short amount of time, and bring everyone back, let alone the logistical nightmare it would be for the staff if they decided to walk there? It feels as though that once the novelty of this idea wears off, the administration will simply wash their hands of this building, and what was once had at Caverly will be gone forever. To close, it appears that this decision reflects what the administration wants, not what the community, whom this board serves, has repeatedly expressed it needs. Our children cannot advocate for themselves. They rely on the adults in this room to make thoughtful and cautious decisions on their behalf. You are entrusted with these roles because the community believed you would listen and make decisions in their best interest. From where I stand, this decision has done the opposite. I sincerely hope that you will take into account everything that has been said tonight, in previous meetings, and by the overwhelming voices in this community, and reconsider your decision, especially for the young children, both present and future, who will be most affected by this. Thank you for your time, and thank you to everyone in the community for listening. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else? Terry Patch, I did submit a letter that I would rather have read in its entirety rather than this, unless I could do both.
You can read yours in entirety if you want to read it. Otherwise, it will be summarized with all of the others tonight, because there are so many of them.
Okay,
Sorry.
but I could do both? I mean, this is separate than that.
What is that?
I just had another afterthought. I was hoping to do this after my letter was read.
I think we have time for
Okay. All right. So, first of all, I want to thank you for all of your service to the community. I do want to take a moment to read a brief excerpt from a pamphlet that's provided by the VSBA, highlighting what does a school board member do. So it does say that school board members act as trustees on behalf of the voters in the district they serve. Board members establish and monitor policies, exercise financial oversight, engage with their communities, attend meetings, and make thoughtful, informed decisions to the best of their ability. They set the course for the superintendent, principals, and teachers to follow. Your decision to vote one way or another should not be based solely on what the school administration wants or what the director of business and finance recommends. While those perspectives should be absolutely a part of your thoughtful, informed research when making important decisions, they should not be the only ones considered. Your decisions should also include information derived from the community, including input from parents, students, and local officials. Please don't assume that just because the administration suggests it, that it truly reflects the wishes of the people who elected you to serve as trustees on their behalf. I believe, as you can see by the turnout this evening, as well as both the official and the unofficial petition that there is with 332 names on it, the decision to move Calverley doesn't, in fact, support what you've decided so far. Thank you.
In the waiting room, there are two people. There's somebody named Bo. Okay, she needs to change her name. And then somebody named Kelsey. So we're asking for first and last name. That's all I know.
Okay. Other people would like to speak. Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
My name is Catherine Lucia, and I'm a parent of Caverly. I had submitted a letter to the board, but I didn't realize that it was going to be summarized, so I would just like to read it to you guys.
I'm sorry, could I have your name one more time?
Yep, Catherine Lucia, Lucia. So my name is Catherine Lucia, and I'm writing as a parent of a student at Caverly Preschool to express concern about both the manner in which recent preschool location decisions were made and communicated, and to offer my strong support for keeping Caverly at its current location. Caverly is not simply a building. It is a stable, trusted learning environment that plays a critical role in the social, emotional, and developmental growth of young children. For many families, including mine, Caverly represents consistency, safety, and a strong connection between school and community. Decisions that disrupt this environment have real and lasting impacts on children and families. While these actions have been described as program relocations rather than school closures, the outcome for families feels effectively the same. Changes of this magnitude should not occur through vague agenda language, last-minute motions, or processes that limit meaningful public awareness and participation. The lack of clear warning on meeting agendas, followed by reliance on verbal legal guidance that was not shared publicly, creates the appearance that decisions were made through backdoor avenues, rather than through transparent, community-centered governance. Whether or not a techno-legal violation occurred, this approach undermines public trust and contradicts the spirit of open meeting laws and ethical leadership. Public schools exist to serve communities. Decisions affecting preschool-aged children, which are our most valuable learners, vulnerable learners, they are valuable too, deserve open discussion, clear notice, and genuine opportunities for input before votes are taken. When families feel blindsided by outcomes, it signals a breakdown in process, even if the board believes it acted within its authority. I urge the board to reflect not only on the legality of its actions, but also on their fairness, their transparency, and the impact on the families. Beyond process concerns, there are many substantive reasons to keep Caverly open where it is. Caverly is unique in that it provides children with a safe, nurturing environment that truly meets their developmental needs. One of its greatest strengths is its access to the outdoor trails in Pittsford, which offer meaningful opportunities for outdoor learning and movement. Opportunities that would not be available if the program were moved to Lothrop. Additionally, as many of you said, there's no playground at Lothrop for the children to use. A new playground would need to be built, and even then the children would be limited to a single space, and I'm especially concerned by the possibilities that students may be expected to commute to the village farm for their outdoor use. My child is on an IEP, and she currently receives all of her services seamlessly at Calverley. She did not have a positive experience at a previous school in Rutland that is very similar to how Lothrop is structured. They are confined to a single spot. It's really hard on the staff. I actually worked there. It's really tough. It's really hard on the children as well. That was not in my letter. That's just a little ad lib. But at Caverly, when we switched programs, she felt very safe, very supported there. The building's house-like setting makes a significant difference for her. It feels welcoming and familiar, fosters a strong sense of belonging, and creates a family-like atmosphere that makes the first 2 years of preschool especially meaningful. I'm not joking when I say this. Calverley literally saved my daughter. Sorry.
for all these reasons, I just strongly urge you guys to reconsider things.
Anybody else want to talk? No.
Okay.
I just have one question. I know that you wanted to like summarize everybody's submitted letters, but is there a way, this is literally my second meeting I've ever been to, so I don't know how these things work. Is there a way we can like motion to have the letters read in their entirety so they are 100% transparent to us, rather than just summarized to like.
I agree. I don't think that it's right that it should. People took the time to write letters in their words, in their voice, and for you to then summarize it within your voice, that prohibits what people really are trying to say.
But that's okay.
So most of them actually have already been read. Most of the other ones are anonymous. So Miss Pye and sorry,
Mine is not anonymous.
No, it's
Mine's
not.
not anonymous
you read
either.
right.
No, you.
I have not read yours. You're right. You did something else there.
Mine's not anonymous,
Barbara
you
has
haven't
it.
read mine. I
Okay.
can read mine out loud though.
My mother's is not anonymous either. I'm happy to read hers as well.
You're okay. So I mean, if
I do feel like also, sorry to interrupt, but anonymous letters, sometimes people don't have the courage to put their names on things, and I think it's appropriate that those people still have a voice.
So these are posted publicly.
they are posted
So
publicly,
they are available.
They are available. They're posted in the supplemental documents that are posted along with the agenda to the meeting.
Where do we find those? I don't know how to do any of this. I don't know where to look anywhere.
I don't think it was online yet.
It is now.
Is it?
it
Okay.
is online now. Yes.
Okay, because we got them pretty late.
Well, that's because we were waiting for as many that came in as possible, so that we didn't inundate you with a bunch of emails. So we did wait until 3 o'clock and then put them all in.
3 o'clock today.
3 o'clock today. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So anything that came in
I'm at work until 4:30 every day. I
so
don't.
if you said something after 4:30, we did not get it in time for this meeting.
Well, I just meant like
Anything
if we-
sent between the last meeting and this and 3 o'clock today was included in the document.
With how this works, are those letters supposed to be available to the board members so they are educated on their vote?
Yes.
Has everyone been able to read all those letters?
Yes.
They should have been
Since
able
3
to read all of
today.
these today.
Yes, right?
No, definitely not. It
Since
was
3
like
o'clock
15
today,
pages
that's
long.
not much time to read through that many letters.
But they were available.
Okay, stop. Barbara.
I move that we make all of the letters that have been submitted part of today's official minute meetings. Meeting minutes, excuse me.
Right, and they will be. They will be. You don't need to make a motion for that because they're going to be part of the supplemental documents. So they'll be there in perpetuity because we did provide it as part of the packet.
Okay,
We just weren't planning on reading each one individually because otherwise we'll be here till 10 o'clock.
I'm prepared
That's
to
fine. As long as people have access to their documents, then I don't need to make that motion.
Okay, yeah, it's not a motion that is necessary to make. Okay, I need to know how the board feels about that because it is a board decision.
I read all of them.
Well, that doesn't mean everybody else
I'm
did.
just
So.
saying.
No, I haven't had time to read all of them. There's no way that we get it at like 4:30 and like I'm doing other things.
I think I've listened to one I haven't read.
Okay.
Got through all of them except for 2.
So, do you want me to read them, or do you not want me to read them?
I think that would be very good
To read them?
to read.
I think it would be best to read them.
All right. Is there anybody else who wants to speak before we do that?
Are there any that we haven't gotten, for instance, from mothers that are still?
It's probably in here. So, is your mom? Miss
Deborah.
Deborah.
Her
So
letter
yes,
should be.
I have hers in there.
Yeah.
The ones that I have, I can tell you the ones who I have because I wrote their names down so that I could say who they were. It was Jean Kaufman, Catherine Lucia.
That was me, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to
Okay.
read that one.
Deborah Iacono, Terry Patch, Emily Carter, and Lynn Gee. Those are the ones I have. That had their name on them.
Just because they don't have their name on them doesn't make sense.
No. But I'm just saying those are the people who put their name on it. Everybody else, they're the anonymous ones are in here as well. Yeah. So go ahead.
Diane wants to go too.
Yeah.
You can go together because I think you're both have the same thing to say.
No, they're not. Go ahead.
I believe under the board's own policy governance policies, the board exceeded its authority by making and voting on the motions to relocate the preschool programs from one building to another. Policy 3.0 makes clear that the board's only connection to district operations is through the superintendent. Policy 3.3 states that the board governs by setting ends and executive limitations and that all other matters are operational needs. Policy 3.3.2 is explicit. The board will never prescribe organizational needs delegated to the superintendent. Deciding which building a preschool program occupies is an operational decision. It directs how facilities are used and how a program is implemented. It does not define outcomes, equity goals, or cost limits. Under the board's own policies, that decision belongs to the superintendent. Policy 3.2 reinforces this by stating that the board will not direct staff other than through the superintendent and will view all operational authority as resting there. By voting on a specific relocation outcome, the board substituted its judgment for the superintendent's and weakened the accountability structure policy governance is designed to protect. I also want to address the assertion that the discussion of preschool relocation was budgetary in nature. I disagree. During the budget discussion about restoring funds in the amount of a teacher's salary, the chair made it clear that while funding decisions rest with the board, staffing decisions are within the direct control of the superintendent. The board controls the dollars, not the administration of those dollars. If the board cannot direct how restored funds are operationalized, it is inconsistent to claim authority over where a preschool program resides simply because that location was linked to a budget reduction in the superintendent's presentation. This is not about the value of preschool or whether relocation is appropriate. It's about governance discipline. When the board acts outside its authority, it has set for itself, it blurs roles, confuses accountability, and undermines public trust. I urge the board to reflect on this action and recommit to governing through ends and limitations rather than operational motions. In reference to transparency on the middle school model, I want to voice my concern about transparency related to the removal of the advisory article on the warning concerning the middle school model and facilities planning and the decision to discuss the topic instead under other business. Based on the meeting discussion, the article was removed not because it was unclear or binding, it was explicitly non-binding, but because of concern that voters might respond negatively. Shifting a major long-term multi-million-dollar facilities planning item from a warned advisory article to other business limits transparency and narrows public participation. An advisory article on the ballot, as I requested, would have allowed broad district-wide input, including absentee voters, without authorizing spending or construction. Discussing the item under other business reaches far fewer people and makes it harder for the public to understand how their input is being sought or used. This is not about the merits of the middle school model. It is about process and trust. When clear opportunities for community input are removed, it creates a perception that the public voice is being avoided rather than welcomed. I urge the board to recommit to transparent processes that invite broad, documented community engagement on decisions of this magnitude. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
Diane, did you want to speak?
Sure. And I submitted it, but Lori offered me the opportunity to read it, so I will.
Okay.
The action taken by the school board at its last meeting to remove an advisory article about the middle school model and bury it under the other business was an intentional act to limit public participation that will prevent board members from hearing public comment that is counter to the wishes of some of the board members. At the November 15th Community Forum in Leicester, Superintendent Sanchez spoke of the district's commitment to being transparent in their actions and plans. This action to delete the article and discuss it under other business is unfair to all the voters of the district and a most blatant example of the lack of transparency on the part of board members. I ask that school board members remember that you were elected to represent the people of this district. School families and taxpayers deserve much better treatment and deserve an opportunity to participate in an open, inclusive discussion about school board plans. Having retained the article would have guaranteed much more public participation.
Yes, board members would likely have heard a more negative response than some might like. The public is likely to use the voting booth as their only other option to be heard. The school board has lost an opportunity to be transparent. Many community members, the folks paying the bills, have been robbed of an opportunity or will be robbed of an opportunity to share their opinions and ideas about the future of education in this district. Put your personal preferences aside and act in a manner that is open and inclusive in the future. Thank you.
Thanks, Diane.
Robert, Julie and Diane didn't identify themselves by their last names, so we're
Oh, Julia Delphia.
I did.
Yeah,
Sorry at the end.
and I said Diane, so I should have said Benware.
Lester.
Thank you. Okay, so is there anyone else who wants to speak before I read these? Because after I read these, we're going to move on. Okay? All right. So these first reach outs are all anonymous, but they are in support of the move of Caverly to Lothrop. Okay? As an OVUU taxpayer, former parent, and current grandparent, I would like to express my support for moving the Caverly preschool program to Lothrop. I have heard numerous comments about the magic of Caverly, the little school in the woods, etc. While I do agree that it's a special place, the program is special because of the love and care that students have received over the years, not the building itself. As with a personal home, the magic comes from the occupants and the care that is built within its walls. To say that Caverly is only special because of its access to the outdoors or because it's a cabin in the woods is to say that students who receive a preschool education within a school building, Nestorby and Barstow, do not have a magical experience. This is false. Lothrop School is truly the hub of the Pittsburgh community and welcomes all of its learners with open arms, support, and security. They would have access to services that are not quickly available at the Caverly site, such as nursing care, school counselors, and behavioral support. Not to mention PE, art, music, and library. Although change may be difficult, this is the best choice, for our youngest learners. That's one. Number 2. Dear School Board, I write in regard to Caverly Preschool. First and foremost, I support the move to Lothrop School. This has been voted on 2 times, and the decision has been made in the best interest of students. 2 board members have pushed this issue to the limits. Brett Mullen is a very close personal friend of the preschool teacher and seems to be misguided on how this process has happened. The preschool teacher was very much aware that this process was beginning. In fact, she discussed it with families last spring and handed out a flyer to them. There was a community forum held at Caverly that no one from the community attended. Let's uphold this decision and put this to rest. There are 4 more pressing issues such as policy, legislative changes, getting a budget passed in the communities, etc. I also want voters to understand that saying no to a budget because of a Caverly decision will do a disservice to your own children.
Can I interrupt a second? I don't think that we should be putting aspersions about the motivations of board members into the record.
These are public comment, and that's why I tried to summarize so that would not happen.
Well,
but
just let me add into the record then that I believe that Brett is acting in the best interests of Pittsburgh and the children.
This is just public choice. This is
Okay.
public comment. So stop
talking about this, Kevin.
All right. Dear number 3, I'm writing to clarify some inaccurate information that has been stated publicly in regards to Stacey Farrington and the move of Caverly. First and foremost, this move has been discussed at length for years. Ms. Farrington is not the driving force behind it. A community forum was publicized, advertised, and held at Caverly. No one showed up. It has been said that Mrs. Farrington has an agenda. Her only agenda is offering a safe, supportive, and valuable education to all students in pre-K 6th grade at Lothrop School. We at Lothrop have had the pleasure of watching her build long-lasting and meaningful relationships with students each and every day. Second, there is access to the Pittsford Trail system from Lothrop via the cemetery directly across Route 7. There's a trained and qualified... Stop. This is public comment. Thank you. Nobody laughed during yours. Please don't laugh during this. Second, there is access to the Pittsford Trail system from Lothrop by the cemetery. There is a trained and qualified crossing guard on duty every day who can stop traffic to allow students to cross Route 7 safely and access the trails. This is done for our classes upon request. Second, it has been stated that students walk on Route 7 for fire drills. They do not. They line up in our lower parking lot for fire drills. We do perform evacuation drills once or twice per year. At that time, students do walk along Route 7 with involvement from community partners such as the fire department and police department. Additionally, staff members line Route 7 to be sure of safe passage for our students. This plan could be adapted for our youngest learners. The Lothrop faculty and staff fully support Calverley moving to Lothrop and are ready to welcome them with the love, safety, and support that all of our students are provided. I encourage the board, this is the next one. I encourage the board to follow through with moving Calverley to Lothrop. I get this decision isn't easy to make, but it is in the best interest of the students. I have been following along and I'm familiar with both Lothrop and Calverley. Lothrop can offer the students of Calverley so much more than what they receive currently at Calverley. They will be able to make specials a weekly thing. They will get to bond with the building, students, and staff. They will be safe there with more staff readily available to step in and help. Calverley is a beautiful building, but it is time to upgrade the program. I understand that Calverley is a special place to the community, but I fear that it is clouding the judgment of what is best for these students. Thank you for your time. Next one. Please stay brave and do what is best for our students. There's a lot of people behind moving Calverley to Lothrop. Vote what is right in your heart. This has been going on for 10 years to move Calverley. Let's finish it and give kids the best outcome and more opportunities to grow. You didn't vote twice if you didn't believe what is right. Next one. I am writing concerns about moving the Calverley preschool. I feel that moving the preschool would be the best for the students as there would be better opportunities for the students to be all together at Lothrop. The opportunities for the students would be they would have access to a gym, a library, they'd have more resources like OT, PT services. Some of these students have siblings that attend Lothrop as well, so it would be nice to have them be at the same school as their siblings. I also feel it would be easier for all parents to have all their children at one school for drop-off and pickups. These students would have access to a full cafeteria as well, and they would be eating lunch with older children that would be good role models for them to learn from. Moving the preschool would also be a safer choice as they plan and practice safety in case of an emergency situation. Custodian-wise, it would be easier to have the preschool combined with Lothrop, so the custodian doesn't have to transport lunches to the preschool, plus cleaning one school and having to go and clean another building. Next one. I am a current community member and future preschool parent. I support moving Calverley Preschool to the Lothrop building. I say this because it will provide more educational opportunities for my children. The loudest voices in this community are not representative of how all parents feel. Please hold firm on your decision to move the program. It is the best choice for our children and community. Next one. Dear OVUU board members, I write as an employee to Lothrop School to express my deep concern with comments made by a Pittsford school board member. On Facebook, Mr. Mullen says that there is more of a decision about access to services and making things easier on staff. While he is correct when he says it is about services, he is extremely misguided when he says it's about making it easier for staff. Our staff does and will continue to do what is right for all students of Lothrop School from pre-K through 6th grade. Yes, Calverley is a Lothrop classroom. It is not about convenience for staff. When a staff member leaves Lothrop to provide services at the Calverley location, they have 20 minutes of round-trip travel time. In those 20 minutes of travel, another student could be receiving services. In addition, Mr. Mullen does not seem at all concerned that each year's Lothrop staff is cut due to attrition. Yes, it is not a RIF, but it is a loss of teaching staff and does have a significant impact on students. Please remember that students spend 7 years in the big building. I would challenge the board to make the decision that is right for all students of Pittsford and not just think of a few. We are more than willing and able to welcome our youngest learners to our campus and provide them with outstanding learning opportunities while providing the love, care, and space they need to grow their young minds and bodies. Next one. Dear OVUU School Board, I have some concerns about public comments made by one of your board members. It has been shared that one of the reasons for the recommended move of the preschool to Lothrop is due to staff convenience. This comment is uninformed and incorrect. It is surprising to me that the same board member expresses the need for early intervention for students. Do you realize that even 20 minutes of travel time reduces the potential services for a child? While children on IEPs are legally guaranteed services, children on EST plans are not guaranteed the same services. They receive them if and when staff are available to provide them. EST plans are the first steps in identifying the needs of students. In a time when staff are being reduced, 20 minutes can make a significant difference. This is not about convenience. It is about the simple truth that 20 minutes can make a difference as to whether or not a child receives services. Next one.
It didn't end.
Oh, maybe it didn't. You're right, it didn't. In addition, it seems like the Pittsford representatives only care about pre-K. What about the cuts that have been made to the Lothrop teaching staff in the past few years? Yes, open positions were due to attrition. However, when you choose not to replace those positions, you are not approving reductions in staff. Do you not worry about how that impacts Lothrop students? One board member has wanted to cut the budget drastically. Again, do you not care about the impact that has on all Pittsford students, even those at OV? It seems that this is a personal agenda that does not represent the entire Pittsford community. Please remind yourselves that Lothrop School is a pre-K 6 school and OVUHS is pre-K 12, and you represent the best interests of all of our students. And I said all like that because it's in caps. Next one. I advise the OVU board to hold firm on their decision to move the Calverley preschool program to the Lothrop School building. This has been voted on legally twice. If you cave to the pressure of a few loud, misguided people, you are setting a precedent for all future unpopular votes to be overturned. Next one. I just wanted to reassure people are out there that is for the Calverley to move forward with moving Calverley to Lothrop. This has been talked about 10 years now, and if it gets by tomorrow, we'll be talking about another 1 or 2 years. So let's finish it and move forward so the kids can get what they need to be successful. Please stay on task and be brave due to change is hard. The board members that voted yes, doing the right thing to move forward with Calverley to Lothrop. I was there today and I saw a lot of people walking around on the trails in that area. I also saw a snowmobile go through near the Calverley playground area outside of the fence area. So please be brave and have courage and don't let people pressure you and change your votes. Have the courage to keep going forward with the change. I guarantee you in the future, it will be a great thing for our kids and our community. And like I said before, you guys voted twice. So let's make it 3 times and do the right thing by moving Calverley to Lothrop. Do not let pressure change your mind. Let it come from your heart and knowing you guys are doing the right thing. Thanks for serving on the board. I appreciate it and be brave and have courage. Don't let the people pressure you into changing your vote and your voice. Be the voice that our students need tonight. Next one. Let's send a clear message tonight. A vote is a vote. If we don't, this will keep happening if the vote does not go a certain way for others on the school board members. Be brave and have courage. Change is hard. All right. The next ones are in favor of keeping the preschool at Calverley. This first one, I believe, is anonymous.
Jeannie
It might be the same one.
I think that
Did Jeannie,
the summary.
that's, well, yeah, I'm reading down below.
Yeah.
Did Jeannie Kaufman read hers?
No, I didn't.
All right, so I'm going to read yours then. Dear members of the school board, I am writing as a parent community member to express my strong concern regarding the proposed relocation of Calverley's preschool from its current home to Lothrop Elementary School. I respectfully urge the board to reconsider this move, as I believe it would create unnecessary financial burdens, negatively impact the well-being and development of preschool children, and diminish a program that currently provides significant value to the Pittsford community. First, I am concerned about the true financial cost of adapting Lothrop School to properly house a preschool program. Even if staffing and licensing remain unchanged, preschool classrooms are subject to specific early childhood requirements that differ from those of elementary classrooms. These include minimum space requirements, child size, and conveniently located bathrooms, safety and accessible modifications, and appropriate indoor and outdoor play areas. Retrofitting an existing school building to meet these needs is rarely inexpensive. Before proceeding, I respectfully ask the board to provide clear answers to the following questions. What is the total cost of converting space at Lothrop for preschool use, including renovations, inspections, furnishing, and ongoing maintenance? Where, specifically, will this money come from within the current school budget? What programs or planned expenditures will be reduced, delayed, or eliminated if needed to cover those costs? If costs exceed estimates, what is the contingency plan and who bears that financial risk? Without clear, itemized answers to these questions, it's difficult to understand how this move can be considered fiscally responsible. Second, I believe this relocation would be a disservice to the children Calverley Preschool serves. The current Calverley setting provides a calm, nurturing, and developmentally appropriate environment designed specifically for young children. Its natural surroundings and access to outdoor spaces support play-based learning and healthy physical and emotional development. This environment helps children form positive, secure, early relationships with school. In contrast, placing preschoolers in a large K-6 elementary building introduces increased noise, foot traffic, and institutional routines intended for older students. Preschool-age children thrive on consistency, warmth, and a sense of safety, and disrupting these foundation risks undermines the strength of the existing program. Finally, Calverley Preschool is an important part of the Pittsford community. It is more than a classroom. It is a long-standing local institution valued by families and woven into the character of the town. Moving it risks losing what makes the program successful, not because it's broken, but because it is different. I recognize that the board must make difficult decisions regarding facilities and budgets. However, I respectfully ask that this decision be paused until the full financial impact is clearly presented and weighed against the educational and community costs of relocating Calverley Preschool. Thank you for your time, consideration, and dedication to the children and families of Pittsford. Sincerely, Jeannie Kaufman. Catherine, you read yours, correct? Okay, so I'm not going to read that one. But Deborah Iacono did not, right? That's all right. So I'm going to read that one. Thank you. My name is Deborah Iacono, and I'm a grandparent of a student at Calverley. I pick up my granddaughter Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I see firsthand how special Calverley Preschool is. Calverley Preschool in Pittsford offers something truly rare, effective, and deeply valuable in early childhood education. Its unique location at the edge of a natural forest environment. This setting provides a rich hands-on learning experience that few preschools can replicate within a traditional school building. Young children learn best through direct experience by seeing, touching, exploring, and wondering. At Calverley, students are not simply learning about nature from pictures or books, they are living it. They are outdoor explorers immersed in an environment that naturally sparks curiosity and deep thinking. Recently, one of the children asked a wonderful question. Why doesn't a spider get stuck in its own web when other insects do? I could not answer it at first, and I studied chemistry and biology at the postgraduate level. It never occurred to me to wonder about that, but young minds ask magical questions because they are seeing the world for the very first time. In this case, the answer is that the spider remembers what part of the webs are sticky and which are safe. That kind of curiosity only happens when children are given a rich environment to explore. The preschoolers have also discovered a deer den where a deer once bedded down to sleep. This is not something a photograph or classroom lesson can replace. At their age, children cannot fully understand or appreciate a picture of a deer den. They need to see it, touch it, and experience it. These sensory real-world experiences are among the most effective ways young children learn and remember. Isn't this exactly what we want for our youngest learners? Calverley's location and the opportunities it provides are a rare gem. It is a school that children dream about attending, a place where learning is joyful, meaningful, and deeply connected to the world around them. I respectfully urge the board to recognize, support, and preserve this extraordinary educational setting. The next one is anonymous, I think. Yeah. As the parent of a Calverley preschool or pre-K3 student, I was disappointed to hear the school board voted to move the program to the Lothrop School Building without a significant financial benefit to taxpayers. Superintendent Sanchez has emphasized the decision-making process is focused on student success, student well-being, community impact, and evidence-based decision-making. With those parameters for decision-making, it's surprising to hear that the board has decided against the growing body of research on nature-based play by moving the preschool program away from its nature-based setting. Calverley is situated in a unique location that provides immediate access to outdoor nature-based play that cannot be replicated on the Lothrop school grounds. The outdoor play area is located under a canopy of trees and includes a variety of natural landscape elements that allow for the interaction with and exploration of nature. Teachers promote outdoor play with multiple extended daily uses of the outdoor space in all types of weather. There are many studies and peer-reviewed articles that demonstrate the positive effects of nature-based play and nature-based learning on children. Studies conclude that there are measurable social-emotional, academic, and mental health and well-being benefits of nature-based learning, as well as more imaginative and cooperative play facilitated by nature play spaces. Natural environments provide a calm and quiet atmosphere that create a supportive learning space, and as preschoolers primarily learn through play, their outdoor space is a significant part of their curriculum. The timing of this decision is unfortunate as the nature play movement has been gaining global attention because of growing evidence that it is beneficial for children's health and development. It comes at a time when there are alarming trends among Vermont's middle and high school students youth risk behavior survey responses in the areas of mental health and perceptions of school safety, as well as upward trends in Vermont children being diagnosed with chronic health conditions and mental, emotional development, or behavioral problems. We should be safeguarding any opportunity that promotes positive mental health and well-being for our students instead of taking them away. As the school board emphasizes its decision-making process is in the best interest of students, it seems contradictory to be removing the preschool from a nature-based setting to be placed in the traditional school atmosphere at Lothrop. The board itself recognized the educational value of the classroom in the woods, while simultaneously voting to take that away from our youngest learners. Your decision is a great disservice to our youngest community members. I urge you to reconsider your position, considering Caverly's unique location and the advantages that offers to our preschoolers. All right. No, that's okay. It's only a couple. Can we?
Yeah.
Sorry. All right. Dear Chairperson Bertrand, I am writing to express my disappointment with the board's decision to relocate the current Pre-K3 and Pre-K4 program known as Caverly from its location at 164 Caverly Road to Lothrop Elementary School on US Route 7. I have several concerns that I hope you will address, particularly in light of statements made during a recent OVUU meeting. It was stated that this relocation is not being pursued as a cost-saving measure, although minimal savings may occur. Additionally, at the January 2026 meeting, Principal Farrington clarified to the board and the public that the relocation was not for staff convenience, which some believe was a motivating factor. Instead, she explained that the move is intended to provide pre-K learners with opportunities not currently available at the Caverly location. These opportunities were described as access to a gym, library, cafeteria, on-site nursing staff, and specialists such as speech and language professionals, as well as others who could identify special needs for early intervention. Principal Farrington's statement implies that students at Caverly do not currently receive these supports or services. If that is true, then OVUU has a much larger issue to address. Every current and past principal and administrator responsible for overseeing the Caverly preschool program should be held accountable for ensuring that appropriate programs, services, and interventions are identified and implemented. If those are not available, unless at the Lothrop Elementary location, the district would most likely be out of compliance. However, I know that these needs are addressed at Caverly by caring, well-trained, and highly competent staff. To suggest otherwise is a disservice to the teachers and staff who are obligated to identify concerns in every child and to seek all necessary resources, regardless of where those professionals are located. In effect, the argument suggests that students would benefit more from accessing a room rather than a program, despite the fact that the current model already offers enriched experiential learning in a truly exceptional environment. At Caverly, students' physical, emotional, artistic, and cognitive needs are intentionally and thoughtfully met through a developmentally appropriate program designed specifically for early learners. If you were to ask any student or parent who has experienced both the Caverly program and Lothrop Elementary, what is your best memory, I suspect the answer would not be, I love going to the gym, but rather we had the best time hiking the trails of Pittsford learning about trees, bugs, and nature. The Caverly program in its current form is a model program, unique, enriching, and deeply valued. To dismantle such a beloved resource is deeply concerning. It is not broken, so it does not need to be fixed. The only compelling point raised in favor of relocation is access to an on-site nurse. However, the absence of a full-time nurse at Caverly has not placed the program out of compliance, nor has it negatively impacted student safety to date. I would also appreciate clarity regarding what the daily schedule would look like at the Lothrop location. Will the 3-year-old program continue to operate on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the 4-year-old program on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays? If so, this would result in approximately 13 additional vehicles per day cycling through drop-off and pickup. If the groups are combined, that number could rise to 26 or more vehicles daily and would likely require additional staff. Has there been, or will there be, a traffic study conducted to assess the impact on safety during arrival and dismissal for all students? I ask whether board members have taken the time to research the positive impact the Caverly preschool has on its students and families. What information formed the basis of the decision to relocate the program? If this is not a financial move, why are board members continuing to entertain it? Have members visited the program, observed the learning environment, or spoken directly with parents and students? Have board members also taken the time to ask the Pittsford community, as well as others concerned, about their hopes for the future of Caverly? I'm curious about how decisions of this magnitude are being made when they will inevitably affect so many children and families. I respectfully ask the OVUU board to reconsider this decision and to thoughtfully evaluate the educational, logistical, and community impact that relocating the preschool will have on current and future students, as well as on the beloved Calverley preschool itself. I hope that members will make the motion to formally reconsider the past vote in light of the information, community input, and long-term implications associated with this decision. There is something truly special happening in that cedar shingled building in the woods, along the trails and immersed in nature, within a very special town. Sincerely, Terry R. Patch. Okay. The next one's anonymous. It is very apparent that no matter how many times the school board tries to close Calverley, that the community will rally behind it and do anything to save this wonderful preschool. It is also very apparent that when the school board was told that all the parents and community members knew this was coming and were coming around to the idea of the move, it's a flat-out lie. I don't know a single Calverley parent that had any idea that this was even a possibility. Calverley is not just nostalgia for the Pittsburgh community, it's a preschool that is loved, safe, and backed by so much research, being an ideal preschool. Most preschools would beg to have a space like we have with Calverley, and you as the school board are trying everything you can year after year to get rid of it. When you say you aren't closing the preschool, just moving the program, that's a lie. You will never be able to replicate what being at Calverley is giving these 3- and 4-year-olds. They have their own space. They don't have to see lots of strange faces all day. They don't have to navigate busy hallways, big buildings, and busy parking lots. Calverley is tucked away on a quiet street behind a police station with hiking trails right out back of the school that they use almost daily. If they were to move to Lothrop, all of that would change. What would the plan be to get that classroom to preschool standards? Would they go to specials even though it's not age appropriate? Would they have to go outside to go to the cafeteria to eat lunch? Who is buying new tables for them to sit at the cafeteria since these tables are too large for them? Where is their playground going to be? Who is paying the playground equipment and fencing for that? There are so many pieces to the puzzle for this preschool program to move to Lothrop, but yet it seems that none of these things have been considered. The only thing that is thought about is the convenience for staff. Every child of Calverley that needs services are getting the services they need. It is convenient to have to drive 4 minutes down the road to get to Calverley for these services? Probably not. But I know current Lothrop students that are in the building that aren't getting the services they require, so saying it will be so much better with this move is not the whole truth. We are asking that you reconsider this closure of the Calverley preschool building. Let our kids keep what is perfect for their development. Let Calverley preschool be their first exposure to school in a safe, made-for-them environment. Emily, do you want your husband read? Was it the same letter? Okay. Dear OVUU board, we are at stake of losing such a special and nurturing space that has meant so much to so many children and families. The teachers at Calverley are exceptional and provide an environment that is developmentally appropriate and supportive to these children. It is incredibly disappointing that the OVUU board seems to lack the knowledge of how special of a location Calverley truly is. Calverley offers a calm, spacious, and well-organized drop-off and pick-up experience. Preschoolers require a significant amount of belongings, and currently Calverley allows families to manage this without stress. The atmosphere is welcoming, unlike the more overwhelming environment that would be experienced at Lothrop for these ages. I am also deeply concerned by statements made by Stacey Farrington, principal of Lothrop Elementary, suggesting that Calverley Preschool lacks in certain areas or resources. This is simply not accurate. Calverley's preschool program is not lacking in any way and has full access to the resources needed to support its students. If there is any uncertainty about this, I would strongly encourage observation of the daily routines at Calverley, as it would be immediately clear that the program is well supported and thoughtfully run. Although it has been stated that the program is simply relocating, this does not reflect how the students learn or how the curriculum is currently structured. For example, over the past 2 weeks, Calverley preschool students have been studying hibernation, adaptation, and migration through lessons on gray foxes, gray squirrels, beavers, and wild turkeys. Teachers have taken students into the wooded area surrounding Calverley, where they have learned how to locate these species in their natural habitat. The students observe signs of gray foxes, including a fox den, evidence of beaver, such as a beaver dam, and numerous deer tracks. These hands-on learning experiences would not be possible if the program were located at Lothrop Elementary. Has the traffic pattern even been considered? Traffic at Lothrop is already a serious concern during drop-off and pickup. Adding preschool traffic would significantly increase the congestion. Currently, an entire lane of Pleasant Street is routinely blocked by vehicles during these times, which already poses a safety risk for emergency responders and fire department vehicles, which regularly need roadway access during drop-off and pickup hours. Additionally, Stacey Farrington's idea of having the preschoolers commute to the village farm raises serious concerns. This would require young children to travel along main roads with heavy traffic. It has been posted on social media that the children will not be walked down Route 7, but down Arch Street instead. Arch Street does not seem any safer. In fact, that street is used as a cutoff from Route 7, with vehicles often going quite fast down that road. Furthermore, the play area at the village farm does not compare to the natural environment at Caverly. The wooded surroundings and trail areas at Caverly provide opportunities for exploration, outdoor learning, and experiences that are especially important for early childhood development. Since it has been shared that the financial savings associated with this move are minimal, and the board has assured the community that cost savings are not the driving factor behind this decision, so what's the push? Given this, it is difficult to understand why such a significant change is being considered when the current program at Caverly is thriving and meeting the needs of our students. I respectfully urge the board to carefully reconsider this proposed move and to recognize the unique strengths, safety, and benefits that the Caverly preschool location provides. Keeping the preschool at Caverly best serves our children, families, and community. Sincerely, Emily Carter. Yeah. I feel the decision to move the Caverly preschool program would be a mistake. The program is a true gem that cannot be replicated at Lothrop. It is the envy of other communities and has served as a model for other programs. I am very familiar with both settings. I was on staff at Caverly from 1990 to 1995, during which time the entire professional staff was enrolled in a federally funded master's program in early childhood special education. The Caverly program evolved through intent with focus on developmentally appropriate practice. I then spent 23 years teaching at Lothrop. As fond as I am of that school, it is not a desirable location for the preschool program. I could list many reasons, the most basic of which relate to safety and mental health. The site alone should raise red flags, wedged between 3 busy roads and a cemetery, and imagine the time and effort involved in assisting 3 and 4-year-olds up the steep hill from playground and field area every time one needs to use the bathroom. The gym and cafeteria in a separate building requiring boots and jackets for winter access. Any vision of increased access to programs is misguided and not based on recognized best practices for the education of young children. While much focus is on consolidation and career college readiness, the youngest of learners deserve the best support a community can offer. Please give thoughtful consideration for leaving the preschool program at Caverly. Thank you, Lynn Kelly-Gee. Okay.
Thank you for leaving.
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
of course.
Lori.
Of course. No, we are not moving the road to the top. No, I don't, because those were already read by those guys. Okay, so we are moving on to the consent agenda. Can I get someone to make a motion, please? Is there a second?
Second that motion.
Okay. All of those in
I
favor?
want to pull the library from the
It's
consent
too
agenda.
late. You got to do that before they make their motion. Do you really want to pull it?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Can we
So,
pull meeting minutes too?
all right, you want to pull the meeting
It's
minutes?
a very minor adjustment.
All right. So we're pulling A and E. We'll do B, C, and D together. Is that okay? All right. Is that okay with you? Made second. Okay. All right. So let's do that first. All in favor of the consent agenda items B, C, and D, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. All those opposed? Okay. All right. Minutes. You want to make the motion?
What am I making a motion for?
Minutes.
To talk about E? Is that E?
No. Minutes is A.
A. All right. I make a motion to approve the minutes with the one change.
Yeah. What's your change?
Which date? Because there's 2 posted.
Well, I think it's been kind of a consistent thing.
Okay.
I was trying to figure out why I'm always Brett Mullins
You know
in the
Brett
paper.
Mullins?
Yeah, I'm just Brett Mullen.
No S.
Oh,
So-
no S. Do you want to take the S's off?
I mean, I don't really care, but
There's only one of them.
There's only one of you, not 2 of you? Okay.
yeah.
Got it.
All right. Can we get a second to his motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Leslie. All right. Any discussion about the use of an S or no S on his name?
I could change my name.
I know, right? I guess we did that for you already. All right. If there's no discussion, all of those in favor of approving the minutes with changing Brett's last name to Mullen instead of Mullins, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Oh, sorry. Opposed? Okay. Thanks, Barbara. All right, minutes have passed. Make your motion.
Well, I've got quite a bit to say. I'm just
Gotta make the
willing-
motion first.
Okay. I move that we pull this discussion from.
What you're doing is you're making a motion to either approve or disapprove of that policy.
Okay, I guess I'm making a motion to defer this discussion until our next meeting.
For what reason?
For length, and because we have many people here interested in some of our other discussions. We're an hour and a half into our meeting already, and we're just on the consent agenda. And I have no particular desire to force people to stay longer for what could be a lengthy discussion of the library policy.
Is there a second to?
I'll second.
Okay. All those in favor of postponing the library discussion item E, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Then I gotta count you guys all now. Leslie.
And Lauren. Looks like Lauren is saying. Lauren, are you saying you want to postpone?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. All right, all those. And Gabe. Okay, so what is that, 6?
6 yeses.
I need one more yes, or else this is going down.
Leslie, Kevin,
I'm just reading some clarity on it.
We're just deferring. We'll talk about it at the next meeting.
Okay. Aye.
Well, eventually we have to approve it, but I think Kevin wants to talk about it and he wants to move on. So he would like to talk about it at the next meeting.
I need to collect the no's of the.
Yeah, all of those that are saying yes, raise your hand one more time.
I have all the yeses. I need to know if
I don't know
anyone's
that
saying
you
no.
do, because Rihanna.
Natalie's gonna go with no.
All right, who else is saying no?
I'm saying no.
Thank you, Barbara. Who are,
I'm saying no.
And Fernandez.
Fernanda's saying no? All
Got it.
right,
I
how
got-
many people do you have?
I have 3 no's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 yeses.
So that's 10. I'm 11 because I didn't vote. Who's number 12? Who did not vote?
I have Leslie, Kevin, Brett, Lauren, Gabe, Brianna. All yes. No's, Natalie, Barbara, Fernanda.
Right, but there should be somebody else. Barbara?
Barbara voted no.
Okay, Lauren?
Lauren voted yes.
You only have 11. You only have 11? Or you only have 10?
1, 2, 3.
Because there's
4,
11 of
5,
us here.
6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10 minus you.
Yeah, you're 11.
You're 11.
11, but there's. Oh, that's right, because Garrett's not here. I'm thinking 12. Sorry, my bad. All
And you're
right,
not
so
voting.
I'm not voting. I don't need to vote. It's
Got it.
7 to 3.
Motion passes.
Yep, motion passes. We will move that to the next meeting. No, it's 7 to 3.
7 to 3.
Yeah, no. All right, global ends monitoring policy. We have an interim report from Renee. Would you like to do that?
Yes.
You might want to turn your chairs around because there's going to be a report up on the screen.
Global ends.
Yep.
Did we skip the RNSU policy for action? Oh, that's the last.
That's the one that we're deferring.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This presentation will come in 3 parts. I'll handle the first couple, and then Debbie will handle the last component. As you know, that global ends are what drive our work here as a school board and as a school district. And as Otter Valley Union School District, Unified Union School District, we have our main one, but then we also have 6 directly underneath them. And those 6 that we have adopted when we moved to policy governance are the same ones that the state has created for the Vermont Portrait of a Graduate. And so I wanted to make sure that I drew that alignment so you can see kind of what our presentation is today. And it's going to be 1.2 communication, 1.3 critical thinking and problem solving, 1.4 global citizenship, 1.5 learner agency, and 1.6 well-being. So the first lens that we are going to look at our global lens through are really the four main set of curricula that we are responsible for as a school district and as a set of schools: the Common Core English Language Arts, Common Core Math, the C3 Social Studies Standards, and the Next Generation Science Standards. So this is an example of how our global ends and the Common Core standards can align. So for 1.2 communication, if you go into the Common Core standards and you see what our teachers are expected to build upon on a daily basis, you can see how communication through speaking and listening and through writing, it's a core element of what we're expected to do on a daily basis for all of our students. As we get a little further, when you start looking at the global ends combined with all four of the standards, you'll see that when it comes to communication 1.2, the goal for our students is to be able to argue with evidence, be able to use multiple representations and media, and then to engage with others' thinking. So what this presentation, or at least most of this presentation is setting up for, these are going to be our benchmarks that we are going to be holding ourselves accountable towards for the board, because I guess historically we haven't presented on kind of what the interpretation is by the administration for the board, what the global ends look like. We will have more data in the middle section, but I wanted to make sure that as we're talking about what our global ends are, what our academic standards are, that you have the understanding that we're looking at this for the first time to make sure that we can share this in a way that has meaning. So the next one is 1.3, critical thinking and problem solving. So within this particular global end and looking at the four standards, we're expecting that our students are working on inquiry, in collaboration, and evaluation of materials that come to them. So making sure that they have the ability to ask good questions and are investigating the information that comes to them. Making sure that as they're developing their thoughts, that they're working with other people through collaboration, so not just developing their ideas by themselves, but actually being able to bounce them off of others, and then being able to take lots of information in, and rather than just saying, okay, that's what you're telling me the answer is, then I need to make sure that I evaluate against the other things that I know. And then but the bottom four bullets show the different ways that our different the different content areas will attempt to do inquiry, collaboration, and evaluation. For global citizenship, when you look at the four standards again, so the most important ones, when you pull them all together, so the first one is understanding interconnected systems, and in this case, we're looking at things like social, economic, environmental, but I would also say the political process as well. The second bullet is participate thoughtfully in the democratic process, and then finally, engaging respectfully with diverse cultures and languages. So within each of the content areas, making sure that our students are strong in communication, making sure that they have the ability to review data in a literate way, making sure that they're using that information for awareness of civic and global issues. Within social studies, making sure that the democratic participation that we're seeing tonight, that we're teaching them that as well. And then finally, when we're looking and evaluating science, that we're trying to look at it holistically rather than one piece at a time. Learner agency. So within learner agency, this is something that I feel is really near and dear to what we should be doing in the state of Vermont, is making sure that we're listening to students as they embark upon the learning journey within our schools. So when they are with us, it's important for them to be able to direct their own learning. So as we're presenting them with topics within the class, if there is a way that they can utilize their expert learning skills to learn it in a different way, they should be able to have the opportunity to do that. in order to do that, they need to be able to express and defend their thinking when they're working with their families, when they're working with their teachers, to make sure that it's not just because I said so, that there's a voice, there's reasoning, and that there's communication. And to make sure that we're wanting to encourage students to persist and grow over time. So to have that resilience for themselves, to have high expectations, for them to be able to understand that it's okay to fail and be able to adapt to what's coming next. And then finally, well-being. So within the 4 content areas, there is going to be opportunities for our teachers and our students to work on and discuss mental and social health, making sure that we have this collaboration, this reflection, and this respectful discourse. Our physical health, of which, of course, our educational quality standards expect us to be able to have time in the school day for both physical education and for recess, but also we need to understand why we're expected to have that physical health, what we get as a result if we are healthy and we make the decisions that we need to make in order for us to be safe in our surroundings, safe in our health. And then also financial health. There is a financial literacy expectation for, that the state has for us, but even within these 4 core content areas, there is the expectation that as you're understanding what it is that you're doing when it comes to your finances, we're making sure that you understand it through your literacy development, through your math development, as well as your social studies development. Okay, for section 2. So this is, twice a year, our students take a climate and culture survey called Panorama. And so these first couple of slides just kind of give you an idea of what the data is that we're reporting out on. So our students, when they're presented this, our students, our families, and our teachers and our staff all take these surveys. They have 5 choices: the strongly disagree, kind of the middle thing, agree, strongly agree. So it's a range of these 5 different answers. And so when you see percentages in the upcoming slides, it's going to refer to only agree and strongly agree. It's not going to mention the ones in the middle or disagree or strongly disagree. So just kind of the really big picture for Otter Valley, we're looking at school safety, school belonging, and school climate. So school safety is how the students feel about their physical and psychological safety while at school. With school belonging, how much do students feel like they are valued members of the school community, and the school climate. So the perceptions of the overall social and learning climate of the school. So for the Otter Valley Unified Union District, these are the final scores of agree and strongly agree. So the survey goes from grades 3 to grade 12, and you'll see that we had 279 students, grades 3 through 5, take the survey, and 363 students take it between grades 6 and 12. So for school safety, 66% of our 3rd through 5th graders said that they feel that they have a good perception of physical and psychological safety at school. School belonging, about 65%, and school climate, the perception of the social and learning climate is about 59%, so they agree with that. And as you can see, as the students get older, that those numbers come down. They come down a bit. So in this year's grades 6 through 12, our school safety, our perceived safety is 49%, our perceived school belonging is 33%, and the climate is perceived at 45%. And again, those are the strongly agree and the agree. So aligning these to our global ends, we wanted to make sure that we talked a little bit more, kind of delving into what those massive kind of 30,000 foot categories look like. So within each of these 3 categories, there are subcategories that are measured, and things like social awareness, self-management, emotional regulation, and learning strategies. So these are the things that give us the information, some of the things that give us the information for those three main categories that you saw. So for these subcategories, you'll see that within our social awareness, when it refers to communication, is that they're pretty favorable for both grades 3 through 5 and grades 6 through 12 at 70% and 64% alike. Self-management, so meaning that the kids can make sure that they have what they need, again, it's pretty favorable at 72% and 75%. So emotional regulation, it's kind of in the middle for grades 3 through 5. They're probably still wrestling with maybe some of the questions that were on the survey. And then as the kids get older, they see themselves like they can control their emotions better. So, and the learning strategies within communication, they feel like about the same, 66% and 61%. And so this is establishing kind of our baseline performance for our students' capacity to make sure that they can communicate with their teachers, consider the multiple viewpoints that they get from things that they read or that they see online, and make sure that they navigate interpersonal situations. When it comes to critical thinking and problem solving, this goal is to make sure that our students are ready to engage in real-world problem solving with self-management, confidence, and interpersonal skills. So our students within, again, we have the information from self-management of 72 to 75%. So self-efficacy is another one that is a new subtopic that we haven't discussed. And according to that, measuring confidence in tackling challenging tasks, so their belief in themselves. Again, we saw the learning strategies from before, 61 to 66%. Emotional regulations, again, 50 to 60%. And the social awareness, 64 to 75%. Within global citizenship, making sure, again, we talked about our democratic processes and understanding the ability to understand others. So self-management, we come back again and we see that we're in the 70s. Our social awareness, again, kind of in the 60s, differing of about 8 percentage points. Our emotional regulation is cited as one of the places that we can make the biggest gain when we start addressing this data. At where our elementary students are below 50% and our secondary students are just above 50%. Our learning strategies, again, our elementary students feel stronger. Almost 2/3 of them agree and strongly agree with how they're doing when it comes to learning. Secondary is about 60%, and our self-efficacy could be higher. We would like for our students to feel like they have more confidence in their ability to navigate challenges. Learning agency. So making sure that students can take ownership of their learning and to make sure that when they are given the opportunity to show that they have the ability to learn in a particular way, that they can share that with teachers and administrators so that way they can access the content, they can access the curriculum, and they can make the decisions that keep them safe and make them more knowledgeable. So when we look at the two subcategories of social awareness and emotional regulation, that enables them. So being able to go into a situation where you are socially aware, 62% of them feel like they can go into that situation to advocate for themselves, to make sure that they are taking on the type of learning that they would like to undertake in their classrooms, but also to make sure that they're speaking up for other things around the classroom or around the school. And then the 47%, we've talked about the emotional regulation. Again, that's a piece that we need to work on as a district. And then finally, we could spend probably the rest of the day talking about well-being, but I think it's really important for us to look at this last paragraph where it says our elementary students report that they have stronger supportive relationships within their buildings at about 89%, but their emotional regulation is, again, around 50% compared to our secondary students. So there's some components where I think we would be able to grow and maybe kind of work with those supportive relationships that they have with their teachers, so that way we can see how they can inspire our students or teach them the skills that they need to have to work with that regulation that they need for their emotions. And so there's this, with this being kind of our baseline data, it'll enable us to put this into our continuous improvement plan so that way we're not just saying it at a board meeting, but we're actually taking advantage of this really important data that we have so we can share it with our schools, share it with our community, and say this is what we're working on because this is what is important to our students.
Can you just clarify?
Yeah.
The percentages, those are just from students or students, parents and?
These are just students.
And it's just Panorama.
And it's just Panorama.
Braden?
Yeah.
So about the accuracy of the Panorama survey, I'm not sure how accurate it really is in determining how students feel about anything, because I've seen a lot of kids who just click through the middle option on every single one of them.
Yeah.
It's probably most of my grade anyway.
Yeah.
And we tried harder on it when we were younger, but we don't try anymore on it. And I think a lot of that probably has to do with the lack of incentives to do it.
Right.
We're told we need to, but then we don't get anything out of it. We don't get a grade. We don't get any rewards. We don't get nothing. So a lot of us, probably most of us, don't actually try, and I think that skews the results a bit.
And so, to your knowledge, is this ever shared out with you? Like, do you ever get this information from the school?
This information?
Yeah.
Not usually. This is the first time I've heard it, at least this year. And I think last year the only reason I heard any of this data was because I actively was involved in something. I forget what it was, but it was some committee meeting that it was talked about at. But otherwise, if I had not been part of that, which most students weren't, I would never have known.
That's really important feedback because we'll be doing it again in the spring, and so we'll make sure that the schools are aware that we need to make sure that either there's an incentive or there's a way for us to really say this matters because we're now going to be taking actions based on what we're receiving from the students.
Is it the only survey you do with students? Do you use any other?
So you're going to hear something from Debbie in a second. There's a social emotional survey called Sabres, and so that's another one that we do.
And I think,
Go ahead, Braden.
just a quick thing, I think Sabres has the same issue as Panorama.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Brett, did you have a question?
Two, I think, probably easy ones. Is it the same exact questionnaire from 3rd through 12? No.
So for the younger grades, it's a more accessible language for them.
Okay.
And then as you get from grades 6 to 12, it's upgrade appropriate.
So that's why it's broken up 3 to 5 and then 6 to 12.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, there are more categories for the older students. For example, we asked the younger students basically about their school as a whole. The older students, we get, they randomly are asked questions about specific classes, and the younger student would have a harder time sort of objectively looking at information. They might base it on the last 10 minutes of like what just happened. So. Okay, so first of all, I'd like to remind the board that you all approved the purchase of 2 programs last year. Actually, 3 programs. Amplify CKLA, that was for K through 5, as well as Amplify ELA 6 through 8, along with Envision Math for grades 6 through 8. The previous year, we purchased with federal grant dollars, we purchased the new updated version of Bridges 3. So that allows us to have consistent curriculum from grades kindergarten all the way through all the way through 8th grade. And I also want to, of course, thank the voters because this has been something huge that we have needed, and you'll see in just a moment how we will be using those programs to be able to find the evidence, well, the learning and the evidence of how our learners are doing. Right now we have just bits of data, and you really have to put a few of those bits together before we can really report out. But I'd like to just share a little bit about thinking about the ends and how we're going to be able to communicate that in future years. So for our primary measures for communication, Renee spoke about our listening and speaking skills. It should say amplify CKLA, which is grades K through 5, and amplify 6 through 8. We will be able to look at writing tasks, end of unit performance tasks, and speaking and listening routines, as well as at the high school level, they've articulated in all of their classes sort of learning targets and outcomes that they would like for the students. And so publishing sort of those rubrics of writing, discussion, presentations, all of that. We'll be able to publish all of that and be able to analyze that closer. Thinking about supporting measures, we, as Renee shared, looking at Panorama Classroom Belonging, and then SABRS, which is our SEL screener, looking at classroom interactions and engaging behaviors that support communication. So that's how we'll be able to measure that. Actual artifacts, writing samples, we'll be able to think about look-fors when our principals visit schools, when I visit schools, when Renee visits schools, to be able to think about student discourse. You know, are they able to challenge one another respectfully and ask really good questions of one another to seek clarity throughout the day. So that's how we will look at communication. Next slide, thank you. So thinking about critical thinking and problem solving, our primary measures will be our VTCAP assessment. So if anybody remembers the SBAC, it's now called the VTCAP, and there we'll be able to look at specifically looking at the tasks that each year the tasks are a little bit different. We'll be able to dig in and look at the reasoning tasks and problem solving items in ELA and math. We'll also be able to go into bridges. There are some performance tasks that are within bridges as well as in vision, and we'll be able to think about so math has not only your learning standards, it also has your mathematical practices, and we'll be able to look at both of those to be able to identify how our students are doing compared to the global ends of the board has set. Again, we have a couple of measures that we will also use. We have Renaissance STAR assessments. Now, even though we use that primarily to assess risk, we can also look at what standards students are showing proficiency in. But we will also we are also tracking growth trends. When I looked at the data recently, we looked at all of we mostly use this beginning in second grade because we use other measures in K1. But in our most recent data that we looked at, we were hovering around a growth number of 49 and change. And that means that our students are, on average, gaining what we would expect them to gain for a full year. Some students are achieving more than that, some students a little bit less than that. And again, looking at within the classroom performance tasks, inquiry projects, labs, capstones, special projects, PLPs, all of those pieces are sort of those hard things that we can look at throughout the school year. Global citizenship, we really, in thinking about that, that is a little more holistic approach of what we would be looking at. These are sort of projects that our students will be doing, anything from service learning to end of unit projects. We will, another piece of that, and I think about our library teachers do a fabulous job of teaching digital citizenship and how we can use our digital tools to connect to the outside world. And it's also thinking about, I was a former fifth grade teacher, and one of the big skills when you get to fifth grade is thinking about author's viewpoint. So it's thinking about collecting all of those pieces together. Are our learners able to go online, find a piece of text, and be able to determine whether or not, first of all, that it's a good source,
Are they able to say, tell whether or not there is bias in the article and things like that? So those are all real tasks that you sort of look for those end projects that they create. We will be able to think about global citizenship through our panorama data, as Renee mentioned, thinking about how well students feel as though they belong in our school, how well they are thinking about the differences of all individuals in the school, and whether or not students are all feeling welcome in our school. We'll be able to get some evidence as to, is there more education sort of needed in that field. The SABRS, again, that's the SEL piece. We can go ahead and, students answer these really quick questions about how they feel about themselves and how prepared they are for certain experiences, and we'll be able to look at that data. And then we also look at our behavior data. HHB comes into place, looking at our HHB numbers, thinking about do we need more education in a particular place because and this is something that we actually already do, looking at our HHB data and determining, do we need some more mini lessons in a particular grade on a particular subject from our school counselors, for example. So,
HHB?
oh, hazing, harassment, and bullying. Sorry, thank you. Thanks for asking that. Yes.
What's SABRS?
Yes. What's that?
What's SABRS?
SABRS is the social awareness, educational. Gosh, we just call it SABRS.
It's okay. It's okay.
So it is. It'll ask, like I said, it'll ask sort of one sentence questions. It's done really well for especially our younger learners. So
social, academic, and emotional behavioral risk screen.
Rating scale.
It's much shorter than
It's a screen.
Yeah.
That's what we say saber.
But I figured it had to be important.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brett. So again, these are the global citizenship piece are really those sort of big end of unit projects that we can get a lot of that information from. And then we also are, I think there was an article that dropped today, as a matter of fact, about our connection with a local agency to really embed restorative practices. They're already happening in our schools, but to, of course, bring that to, to everyone and make sure that we're sort of all on the same page and understanding of restorative practices and where that lives.
Bit of information. Can I ask what those restorative practices are?
So a lot of those restorative practices, I like to think of them as restorative conversations a lot of times. So for example, many times people think about restorative practices that there are not any consequences that sort of happen. So when something happens and when there's harm done, there's almost always a fracture of a relationship of some sort. And it's thinking about both the piece of repairing whatever has done when there's been harm, whether that's harm to something, a building or a person, whether it's physical, whether it's, verbal. It's making sure that two things happen, that there is repair done to help mend whatever happened. Then there's repairing the relationship whenever that's reasonable. That doesn't always happen right away. Exactly. And then it's also thinking about, sometimes it's preparing sort of the person for a consequence that's appropriate for what just happened. So, so there's a lot of pieces to it.
The other piece that I would add is that it's also proactive. So making sure that as the adults in the situation, making sure that we're using de-escalation or de-escalative, languages that encourage de-escalation. And also making sure that we are, not just the adults are using it, but we use it so often that our students are seeing how they can use it as well.
Thank you. And many times, so when I was a principal, many times there would be, it was just a beautiful thing when you would see that there would be an unfortunate situation, and later on a teacher would find time to sort of maybe have a student come and help clean up whatever happened, or just spend time to repair that relationship. So it can look a lot of different, and of course what it looks like in third grade is going to be very different than 9th and 10th grade. So yeah, thanks for asking. So thinking about learner agency and within our learners, that is something that interestingly enough, we have sort of our learners have different understandings than our teachers do as far as agency, so we'll look into that a little bit. So you're thinking about how students are goal setting and data collecting and just reflecting. So when we were in the first year of our understanding our programs, and just today I was on a meet with one of our vendors, and they were speaking about one of the programs called Boost, and that is where it provides a little bit of computer aided practice for the student, and then it provides follow-up lessons that the teacher can use. And it's thinking, and it goes really deeply into really like brain-sized sort of lessons that student may need. And so this is thinking about, are we able to have our students track their data, like through data journals, and be able to see their progress and really sort of, and instead of just waiting for their grade or waiting for the end state, they're sort of following along their own progress so that they are working with the teacher on that. It's also, when you think about grades 7 through 12, our personalized learning plans and student-led conferences, although we often have student-led conferences that are. And then again, we'll be able to look through the panorama, looking at how students feel about what's their, what is their, do they have a growth mindset? How do they feel about self-efficacy? Also thinking about, are they able to persevere? How do they feel about, do they feel, I guess I want to use the word, do they feel like they have their own ambition, if you will, to be able to work with teachers and to be able to learn somewhat on their own as well. So we also will use Sabers to think about. That's sort of some of our work habits come out in Sabers as well. Even though it's SEL, it's more about perception. It's about how do they feel that they are able to get their work done. So, and thinking about, it says like perception readiness, so it's how ready are they for each lesson and for the learning that is happening within their classroom. And as we know, if somebody's well-being is not healthy, then it's really hard to be ready for that learning. So that's why that data is really important for us to understand when it comes to learner agency. And again, we talked about, data journals, things like that. So those would be the artifacts. We also have progress monitoring that we have some new tools for, so that students who may not be able to that need some extra help, either within the classroom or outside the classroom, we have some progress monitoring, measuring tools that will be able to sort of make sure that we catch those skills that are needed early on, so that those gaps don't grow as students get older. I want to also point out that attendance is really important when it comes to thinking about learner agency. If students are not feeling like they can be successful at school, we may not see them coming to school. So we need to be looking at our attendance and making sure that we're understanding why our learners are or are not coming to school. That's a really important piece as well. And finally, is well-being, I believe, yes. So again, we'll be using Panorama for well-being. We'll be using absenteeism. I just spoke with that a little bit. Also, Sabers will come into place, and Also thinking about our school counselors, finding a way to get, even if it's sort of anecdotal data, trends from our school counselors, thinking about what types of support. Do our younger learners have those breaks built into their day, and then say that's happening K1, 2, and then are they able to sort of learn how to not need those breaks as much as they get older? We can look at trends there. And again, the artifacts will be sort of those EST plans, and thinking about how many of our learners are able to get what they need in the classroom, or if they're needing to access sort of our school counselors, or even access through special education for tier 3. So, questions? That's a lot of information from Renee and I.
I've got a question that goes back to slide 12. It's the one titles Fall Panorama. And my question is about the aggregates. Given what Braden said, maybe we can discount the high school level a little bit. And also, my question is about safety. Sometimes we're in a cultural moment where people sometimes say they feel unsafe when in fact they're really feeling uncomfortable. And teenagers tend to be dramatic. So let's leave the teenagers aside for a minute and look at grades 3 to 5. According to this, and I would think that younger children have pretty simple ideas about what it means to feel safe and unsafe. We've got a third of kids who don't feel safe in school. And I wanted to know if there's any breakdown of why they feel that way, what they're saying about they're not feeling safe about.
So first, I would say we can't discount, we can take Braden's information into account, but we can't totally discount what is there. We have to act upon it,
okay,
and then hope that by taking his advice and making sure that we're working towards getting better data, that the spring data is going to be more descriptive of what the high schoolers are feeling. Because if we just say this is totally discounted, then we're not going to be, because if these numbers are relatively true, they're alarming. And so just like you're saying that at the grades 3 through 5, a third of our students are feeling not safe, those are things that we have to look into. So there are text like free response that we will also be looking at. There's also the ability to look behind the data with some insights that the program allows us to do. So we're looking at those with the principals to make sure that they're aware of how this is being reported at their campus, but also we need to get with the principals to start problem solving with the data that we're getting. So yes.
Also, we can't assume it's 1/3, right? Because there's a percentage in there of no opinion.
Correct.
Do we know what that is? And
yes.
Are they saying no opinion because they don't understand what it means to be safe? At least for the 3 to 5 year olds.
Would you also say that it's not just safety about school, that when they think safety, they're not thinking just school, they're thinking about all the time?
That's what I mean, like, what are they defining as safety?
So one of the pieces that we will do, so I've already looked at sort of the individual questions, and the individual questions actually tell us a lot of information. When we look at some of those very specific questions, oftentimes it'll be sort of one question that really sort of stands out front, that really probably impacts that data quite a bit. And that helps us to be able to focus in on, why students are not feeling.
And
and I also feel like if they're saying they don't have an opinion, that's another, maybe that we need to think about how we word the questions.
How we approach it. Maybe instead of having them click things on a computer, do it through a person who makes it interactive and fun.
One of the other things that now that we're providing this information, if there is something that you would like to expand on at a later board presentation, we totally can, because it's connected to the global lens. So we would be happy to come back with more information about any of these topics.
Yeah, I'd be more interested in reasons. Natalie's point might be that is a very good one. It might be that a third of the kids just don't click on it, and it skews the number there. But why people might be feeling, students might be feeling unsafe. If we want to take the high school numbers seriously at the moment, it seems like we've got a problem. I'd redefine school belonging as a sense of alienation. And that's partly because they're teenagers, but what else is happening that they may be feeling alienated from their school environment? So those are the things I think that the board can begin to address perhaps, but it certainly should know about.
I would also say that using the panorama, we're in sort of a revival mode, if you will. It was purchased during the pandemic, and when it was purchased, because let's face it, there was a lot going on. I don't believe that it was rolled out well at the time. Again, no blame, just there was a lot going on. It was purchased with good reason to be able to learn about these things with our students, but there's a lot more that we can do. For example, like really prepping. I actually had some conversations with principals about this, one of them about what we can do in the spring to sort of prepare the students to take the assessment a little bit, just with a little more understanding of why they're doing it. So
my son is a second grader, will be a third grader next year, and I know that if it's, yes, he has forewarning or just anything along those lines that make it even a little bit more exciting, he's pumped for
even
it.
just knowing that the board is going to see this data, like this data was not really, as a principal, we gave the assessment and we didn't really do a lot with the data because we were on sort of a roller coaster at that time. So, yeah.
Thank you for clarifying that.
I would also be interested in hearing about the response to the data. What are the things that are being done to improve the data?
Well, this is just an interim report, so.
I know.
We
can say it.
No, absolutely. Okay. Brett?
Probably just because of the presentation for us, it's watered down. But I do you look at like grade to grade? I'm assuming it doesn't just go from 65 to 33.
Right. So
Yeah.
I can tell you, and I'm speaking very broadly, but when I looked at the high school data for, I'll be honest, I don't remember which category it was, but it was clear that the seniors, I think it was belonging, that seniors had they were like all green. They had high levels of belonging, and so it changed from our students coming into OV. It was such a stark difference between students coming into OV and then seniors. So I think that there's a lot of, when you think about Otter Valley right now, they are, they have a program for, we now have a transition program between 6th and 7th grade. We also have a program from 8th to 9th grade. 9th grade is specifically working on just students thinking about their grades and completing their work. So all of those things are gonna grow over time. But they're relatively new pieces to Otter Valley, so they will certainly help.
Can only go up from here.
Any other discussion? Okay.
Is there anything we can table to get to certain?
Yeah, don't worry. We're already on it. Thank you very much. All right. So first of all, it's 8:15, and so I need a motion on the table to extend our meeting till I'm going to say 9 o'clock right now. We might have to do it again, but 9 o'clock at this point.
So moved.
Thank you, Kevin. Is there a second?
Second the motion.
Thank you, Leslie. All those in favor of extending our meeting till 9 o'clock, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is move the monitoring report 2.7 and our monitoring report 4.4 chair's roll to the next meeting. So that is moved. The one thing we cannot move forward is the validation of the OVUHS annual district warning. There was a motion here. There was a mistake on the warning for one item. It was for the Whiting term. It said it was for a 3-year term, but it's actually a 1 year remaining of a 3-year term. So can I get someone to make the motion that is here on the agenda?
I'll move to correct.
I'll second.
All right, we want to make the motion. Can you just read it for me, just so that we can say people can hear it?
I move to ratify, confirm, and readopt the action taken at the meeting of the OVU board held on January 13th, 2026 to adopt the OVUHS annual district warning, notwithstanding an error in the original warning that incorrectly stated the Whiting representative seat as a 3-year term when in fact the position represents 1 year remaining of a 3-year term. And to ratify, confirm, and approve any acts or actions taken by municipal officers or agents pursuant to that act, and to authorize and approve any corrective actions needed to ensure the warning accurately reflects the term of office.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second that.
Thank you, Fernando.
Read it again.
Yeah, right? Is there any discussion? So the only thing is that the warning, as it says here, was that the Whiting representative term was shown as a 3-year term, and it is actually a 1 year of a 3-year term remaining that Rhiannon is running for.
So I took this as one motion.
It is one motion.
Okay, so we had too many seconds. Natalie made the motion, Rihanna seconded, and then Fernanda also seconded.
Oh, well, you can pick one.
Okay, I'm picking Rihanna because she.
Okay, there you go. All right. Any other discussion about this? No? All right. So all of those in favor of this motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, thank you for that. Annual district meeting planning, finalizing the budget presentation and discussing the bond proposal presentation. We can do this at our next meeting if you want to, but it's going to, I'll leave it up to you guys. I think that the bond proposal presentation should really be the presentation that we presented in June. When we decided, when the committee
had the pictures.
Yep.
Of the
Yep.
school.
If you're okay with that. And as far as the budget presentation, usually Brenda and Melinda put that together, and then one of us present it. Are you okay with that as well?
Can we review it next time?
Maybe. I doubt it, but maybe.
The presentation is.
Yeah, it might be done.
The
Probably.
It's pretty similar to the one that we get.
Yeah,
Right.
it's usually pretty similar.
One thing I'd suggest adding to the bond presentation is a discussion of the statewide obligation.
Okay.
I think that's very important. That's one of the reasons that I didn't like the motion that was we didn't put on the ballot last time, and it's something that's critical to this discussion.
Statewide obligation to facilities? Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We can add that. Not a problem. All right. Anything else that we need to discuss regarding these presentations? We will look at them at next meeting if we can. Okay. Moving on. Fiscal year 27 Lothrop Pre-K program. So before we get into any motions, I do want to give some additional information that I got today. Pre-K licensing was able to come and look at the Lothrop building earlier this week. It was determined that the classroom that they're looking at is the one that is behind, for those of you that know the building well, it is the kindergarten classroom that is behind Stacy's office. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay,
Right at
great.
the entrance, yeah.
Right at the entrance. So, what we were determined was that the bathrooms are fine, that the space is good, that actually it is a bigger space than the Caverly building currently, and that the only thing that they could tell on their initial visit, was that we need to put in some CO detectors because children need to nap, and so therefore we need to make sure that we have those. The fire marshal also came in, and actually I think he was the one who said that we had to have the CO detectors. Yes, that is true. The fire marshal did his visit, and that was his only minor adjustment, was to have the CO detectors. They also said the initial review of the space was fine, and the space will work. Generally, spaces in a school are acceptable spaces. That is the note I have. And that they are going to be going to OCA on Friday to do their pre-K inspection there. For those of you who need to know that. So we know we have to do a playground. We know we need to put a fence around a playground. We also know that we will probably bring everything that is not nailed down at the Caverly site to the space wherever that space is determined. with a new fencing. Probably the only thing they won't move is like swing sets. We'd start with one and then we would slowly add to it as the years go by. So, anything else? Does anybody here have questions about that? But anyway, I wanted to let you know that licensing has been there. They have looked at it. And they deemed it usable. So, what's your pleasure? Well, you'll need to make a motion or not make a motion. It's really up to you. What I will say is that I don't think that there needs to be lots of discussion. We've heard that I wanted to give you the new information that we have. And that is, other than, I mean, we heard from many people about their thoughts about Caverly, and not to negate it, but it is the same that we've heard the last couple of meetings. So I don't know that we have any more new information to bring forward. So I'm not sure that we need a lot of discussion, but maybe you do. So
That is a part of the process.
But that is part of the process. So, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to reinstate the Caverly program, the pre-K program at Caverly.
Okay.
I second that.
Thank you, Barbara. Discussion. Don't all speak up at once. Oh, sorry. I was writing down the notions. I know I was writing. Sorry, go ahead.
I got about an hour's worth of stuff I want to go over. No, just kidding.
We're going to add that S back to your name.
I want to thank everyone for coming out. I think, what we see consistently whenever we have these sort of tough conversations is the passion and the impact that our programs collectively, district-wide, have on the people who we represent. So I want to thank everyone for coming out. And I also want to apologize. I was not trying to upset anyone with any statements that I made online. I was trying to paraphrase the discussion. I can see out of context how it doesn't come across right. So apologies.
Probably not a good idea for board members to write on Facebook. Just saying.
Understood.
Only because even though we're just Brett Mullen or Lori, right? I didn't say us.
Yeah.
Or Lori Bertrand, we always look like we have our board hat on. So just saying. That's for everybody's kind of thought process. So
I was attempting to be very neutral.
I understand that. And I understand that, but I'm just saying, if you're on Facebook saying what the actions of the board were and standing behind what the board has said, because that's what we've done, one thing. To put your personal spin on it sometimes can be seen as undermining the board.
Fair enough.
Okay. Discussion, other than what Brett had to say. Nope. Okay, so are we ready to vote?
I guess I do feel like I need to say that I am still reluctant. I was reluctant the first time, but I am still reluctant to make decisions when I don't feel like I have the whole picture. And there are things missing, both in this situation and the one with OVUHS around impact, budgetary impact, things that need to be changed. I'm glad to hear that the timing of the visit. But it just feels like we should have done that first and then consider all the other things. I am really appreciative of what everybody has said they value about this program and how unique it is. And in my school educator hat, why would we mess with it, right? Like it's perfect. There are other things to consider, and I feel like I don't have enough data about all the other pieces. I've heard some information. I was hoping to hear more about the gains in regards to services, not programs, because I do believe people are right. Preschoolers don't need specials. They need integrated programs. But in regards to what we were gaining for services, it would have been really helpful to know that we were giving more access to more children in special education services or speech and language services or the things that are challenging right now. And I don't know that I feel really strongly about the games. So I guess that's the piece where I'm conflicted. I understand change has to happen, that we are in situations. After last month's board, I went home and I'm like, there's nothing we can do that is right as board members that is going to please anyone. Every decision is a hard decision, right? And every decision breaks my heart. So it's really hard to be in this place and consider you and consider the budget passing by one vote and consider all the elements. So I'm having a really hard time.
Kevin?
I really still feel like we haven't really created a vision for what a pre-K program at Lothrop would look like. You talk about, we'll just throw up some new fencing and we'll year by year add a little bit of play. But what does that look like? Like, where on the property is it going to be? How is it going to be better than just opening up the doors to pre-K? Yeah, but if you want to convince a community that that's what's best, you kind of need that before you kind of take the leap off of the cliff, I think.
Nothing against. My nieces went through the Caverly program and they had an excellent time there. I've been to the Caverly program many times myself. But I would say to you that.
But don't say to me. Say to them.
No, but I would say to you and everybody else that all of our preschool programs are well run and well done everywhere, regardless of whether they're out in the middle of the woods or not. I would say that. Wouldn't we all say that? And
I have four children that went through Nesterview Preschool, which is inside a school.
Big school.
Yeah, and they're in college and older, and they did just fine. And one of them is autistic, so I understand the concerns and how you feel about the program, but I also know from experience they'll be okay. Because mine were okay. And they were all different kids with all different personalities, and they all adjusted and did well.
I'm sorry, but your kid is not my kid.
I understand.
I'm glad that they did great, but I just, literally, why try to fix something that's not broken? Just leave the thing where it's at. I mean, come on, what are you going to do with it? Use it for storage space?
And why are our taxpayer dollars still going to pay to heat it and run it?
Literally.
What are we running it for?
Okay, enough. Rhiannon?
I'm kind of sitting on the fence as well, mostly because, like my fellow board member said, I don't know what the gains essentially are going to be. I mean, and if it's going to be enough to justify such a massive decision. At the same time, I agree with the other side of everything, that it's something that keeps coming up. It's probably going to continue to keep coming up. But I do have, just hearing from everyone else, I have concerns regarding like the cafeteria. I have a 3-year-old at home, and she struggles to get on her kitchen, normal sized chairs, things like that. And like toilets, like I'm currently potty training. And I'm not trying to make it personal because I know I've got to detach from that, but the potty training alone has been fun on my large toilet. And I do worry that teachers, from what I remember from my son being in preschool, they can't go in the bathroom with them. And I'm curious, like, are we going to make more accessible sized toilets for them? Can they receive help to do it? And if not, like for my own sense and for my own being, I feel like I could make a decision based on a few of those more essential details, if that's
Is that what the
possible.
Site
So
visit
the
did?
site visit said that the bathrooms were just fine, the way they were, because it is a kindergarten bathroom.
Okay.
And according
And it is
to,
in the classroom.
According to Brenda, the size of the Caverly toilets are the same size as the toilets that are in that room.
And the toilet.
Apologize for missing that detail.
Is the toilet in the room?
It's inside
the
bathroom. The bathroom is accessible.
In the
It's
classroom.
between the two classrooms, right?
Well, I know at Neshabie they have within. There's the room, and then
Right, they're within the.
so
and that should be their
nobody has to leave the room.
Right, nobody
Okay.
has to. Yeah,
And I think isn't that the same way at Caverly?
I need to go take a walk there.
No, I would prefer that this just be. We've heard from everyone today, and unless there's something new to add.
Well, I was just curious. I know you said the toilet in the classroom is okay with the idea of moving them to Lothrop so they can access, speech and all that, but also use the cafeteria, the library, the music room, and the gym, where those toilets are not the accurate size.
So
They would be the same size as the kindergarten toilet, whereas
Yeah, no, I don't want to debate. I don't want to debate, but I do know that.
I was just searching for clarification.
No, but I'm just thinking about at Neshabie,
Right.
the kids are brought their lunches for pre-K into the classroom that they're in. They don't actually go to the cafeteria.
So then why move? Yeah.
So I'm just pointing out a point.
She's answering
So,
the question. Yeah.
Gabe?
I just want to make a brief comment, is we're not going from a place that is out of compliance to a place that is out of compliance. We're not going from a place that is in compliance to a place that is out of compliance. The district is going to, in any of these circumstances, provide appropriate services, appropriate spaces to meet the compliance requirements by the state. So Fernando mentioned that there is no right answer necessarily, or that there's only wrong answers. What did you say? Correct, please.
No, I think it feels right, right? Like
Right.
it's not a clear cut game.
Yeah, I would present the concept that there isn't necessarily a wrong answer, in that neither of these spaces, whichever way you go, is a bad space for kids. So I just want to make it mentioned and said to the group and heard by the group that there isn't a negative space here where kids are going to be less cared for and less overseen by the district and provided less required space. I understand that there is some debate on how those services may or may not be rendered, but those services will be rendered in either circumstance. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
Thanks. Barbara?
In my time on the board, it's been a very rare circumstance where we've spent over an hour hearing public comment, the majority of which is in favor of a specific issue, which is keeping Caverly where it is. I haven't seen an hour plus of public comment. I find it saddening that we sound like a bunch of bureaucrats, or a lot of us sound like a bunch of bureaucrats who aren't listening to the people who came to this meeting and spoke up and wrote in. I don't understand why we're being heartless, or why many of us are being heartless. There does not seem to be a benefit to moving it to Lothrop that overrides all of the outpouring of support for this program from everyone from current parents to the originator of the program from 30 some years ago. So I don't want to be a heartless person who doesn't listen to my constituents. And I don't think we would be underserving the kids either place, but that's not what I'm basing the decision on. I'm basing my decision on the fact that I'm listening to the people who came to the meeting, and I'm listening to the fact that for the entire time I've been on this board, the people of Pittsburgh have spoken in favor of keeping Caverly where it is.
Okay. Thank you. Kevin?
So kind of along that same vein, if there's no clear advantage one way or the other, which I think that a lot of people have acknowledged, then it's really hard to kind of speak out against 388 signatures that you have in front of you on the table.
say something briefly or not? I mean,
Does it add to the conversation?
I would.
Is it something new that we haven't heard?
I'd like to say it because I'm 79 years old and I'm probably older than anybody.
All right, fine, go for it.
No, you're not. I might not be able to say it.
Okay, go for it.
Nobody is I don't feel any of us are questioning that Rutland Northeast wouldn't provide a good program wherever these students are. That's not the question. I know the program. I mean, I've been I worked for the Rutland Northeast Early Childhood Program. I've been at Leicester Preschool. I've been at Whiting Preschool. I've been at Neshabie Preschool, as well as Caverly, because there weren't many of us, so we had to do a lot of places. We did. You folks you're caring. You care about these children. But what I don't understand is why you would disrupt a program that is historically and continues to have the support of the community, the parents, a program that works to move them to an elementary school. I don't feel like Fernanda said there's enough information to show that would make a huge difference in their lives. Why would you choose to do that? I honestly don't get it.
And I just want to add to what Kevin said. There is on the record that there are benefits to moving it, and we can't say that there aren't any. They're on the record. I don't want to debate them, but it has been said we can't, as a board, say there aren't any. There are. The principal told us what they were. The special education, Ryan told us what they were. So there are benefits, and I don't want to, just for the record, just want to make sure that that's there. It's the balance.
My hand a moment ago was raised for exactly that. The principal, Ms. Fearington, and the gentleman you just mentioned are not here tonight to speak on it, but they shared a great deal of items with us, and I don't want those to be lost. I want to honor and respect what we're hearing here tonight, but I also want to reiterate what you're saying is the principal and notable functional staff within that facility, as well as 12 community members of named and anonymous, did highlight a lot of the benefits that go along with it. So let's just not forget that there are really benefits.
And as a board member and just as a professional in my own job, my decisions are not based on emotion. They cannot be based on emotion. They have to be based on practicality and what's needed, and looking at it as the lens of the entire area that we overlook and not just one. Like, I can't compartmentalize. I have to think about it. I have to make practical decisions.
What about
and
the
not
extensive
emotional.
amount of data and research out there about what is best for
I'm
our
just saying I'm making
All right, enough.
decision.
Okay,
On-
we're not doing that. We've already
data and research out there highlighting how
enough,
important
please.
our child.
I understand, I know, but we've heard from you, and we've heard that. We know that there's data out there.
How is what's best?
No, I just mean that we've heard that you've all said that there's data out there. We've heard that. We've heard all of you. This is up to the board now.
Where's your data?
Excuse me?
Where's your data saying that it will be better for our kids?
As we said, we have had the principal, we've had Brian.
Okay, but
Craig.
that's not.
All right, we're not having this discussion anymore. I've already
Allow
said
people to speak when
we gave you time to speak.
in the beginning.
In the
This is
beginning,
Yes.
not after
discussions
this.
happen.
I'm gonna call.
That's
We
right.
didn't have
Can I call the
discussion.
question?
Yes, you may. Are you calling the question?
I'm calling the question.
You need a second.
I'll second.
All right. We do need to have a vote to call the question. So all those in favor of calling the question, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Or raise your hands
Aye.
just so I can see.
I think it's unanimous.
Lauren, what about you, Barbara? Okay. All those voting no? Abstaining?
So wait.
This is just
We're
calling the question.
calling.
Yeah, just calling the question. Barbara, you're abstaining?
moved.
Trying to.
Came off mute very briefly.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, there's already a majority, so I'm going to assume that you're either a no or maybe you can put it in the chat. All right, so we've called the question. That has been moved, so we are ready to vote. Can you say that what the motion is again, please, from what you have, Amber?
Yes. Motion to reinstate the Caverly program at Caverly was made by Brett Mullen, seconded by Barbara.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Now, all of those in favor, please raise your hand and keep them up.
In favor of reinstating. So
Yes.
keeping Caverly at Caverly.
Yep.
I have
Lauren?
I have hold up, Lauren. Barbara's not answering.
No.
Brianna. Kevin. Kevin White. Brett. And
Should get the S on there.
Brenda. Let's get the S number.
Okay. I know, right?
Did
All right.
Lauren?
Look, we got Lauren. All right.
Do we get Barbara?
Barbara.
I haven't. She hasn't done anything yet. I think we know what she would vote, but we'll see what happens. Maybe she needs to reconnect. There she is. Barbara, you,
Sorry, can you, I'm having, all of a sudden I'm having trouble connecting, so.
okay, so there's the motion is up on the table. Are you in favor of the motion to move Caverly back to the Caverly site?
I am in favor.
Okay. Add Barbara. All those opposed?
Leslie, Gabe, Kevin Thornton, Natalie. I think that's everybody.
All right. Do you have 10 there?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I have 10.
All right. So you have 6 yeses and 4 nos.
Correct.
So the motion fails because we do not have 7 saying yes.
So you're saying no, or?
I'm not voting. I don't need to vote.
Motion fails.
So, okay. So the Caverly preschool program will be moving to Lothrop
In 2026.
in the fall of 2026. Yes.
Disappointing.
When's the next board meeting?
2 weeks.
All right, we'll all be here.
All right. We'll see you then.
Thank you.
All right. Board member seats for March elections. Everybody has turned in their sheets because they were due January 26th. There is one seat that is vacant. There is nobody being there's nobody being run against.
Okay.
Whatever that means. There's no contention
You're all
in it.
unopposed.
Yeah. But we do have one at-large position, the 1 year remaining with 3-year term, that is vacant because Garrett is not rerunning for that position.
Okay.
So, if anybody wants to run for that, they would have to do a write-in ballot, and you would need to have at least 60 signatures in order to be elected.
Votes.
Yep, 60 votes throughout the district. Okay? So if anybody is interested in that. Okay? Alright.
This is for at-large?
Yes, at large. So, overview of all funds and the discussion on the cell phone policy I am moving to next meeting. For the community linkage, people need to know that on Saturday, February 21st, from 8 to 10, we will be at Hayes Pallets as we see everybody going to the dump. And again, from 10:30 to noon at the Leicester, near OCA Leicester. I believe that's going to be at their transfer station. And on this Saturday, February 28th.
Is it at the town offices?
By the town office.
Oh, sorry about it. Is it? Okay, sorry. Thank you.
By the white building, by the town.
Nice clarification. Thank you. All right. Saturday, February 28th from 8:30 to 9:30, they will be at Pittsford at 499 Depot Hill Road. And again, from 10 to 11, they'll be at Whiting near the Whiting building for people to reach out. We're also...
On the 28th.
Nope, on the 28th, yes. Future outreach, we're still trying to get in touch with like bone builder groups and senior centers. We have not set up anything with them yet. And select boards. What? Say what?
Saturdays, thumbs up.
Oh, thumbs up?
I was gonna say I've got a great grandmother on bone builders. I might be able to.
Oh, excellent. That'd be good. That'd be great.
In Whiting, the bone builders in Whiting?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so let us know.
Yeah, we hang out when we hang out at the wedding.
Okay,
They come after.
Whisper in a few ears.
Sure, when are your meetings? First and third Mondays, so we'll let you know. We'll get in contact with you to get on your agenda. Okay? Let's see, legislative reps to future OVUU meeting.
Oh, that was me. So this past week, you'll see this in the announcements. At the all superintendents meeting, Senator Weeks, it said that he's available any Monday. So if we would like to hold something either on a Monday or if we have the opportunity to Zoom in, that he would be happy to come as long as it fit into his schedule. So that way we can chat with him about any concerns that we have or if he has any legislation that we need to be aware of.
Are there topics that you guys are considering to sort of offer as part of that discussion to get it rolling?
Yes, Act
Are you
73.
reaching out for looking to us to add to?
So for us, there's a lot of the components of Act 73, things like consolidation and the foundation formula, and even things as like graduation requirements and class sizes. Those things are important to us. But if
And money for buildings?
And money for buildings. So if there are other topics that board members would like to have for that, we can kind of send it to him ahead of time. I know that you've had Representative Conlon too.
Yep, and actually we're going to try to get all the reps here for our February 17th meeting, even if they're just via Zoom.
Right, okay.
Yeah, okay? So that you can talk to them and hear what they have to say about what's going on up there right now. Yes.
Those are always fun.
I know, aren't they? So, okay, so moving on. RNESU board update. We had our meeting a couple of weeks ago. We moved the library thing that we're now going to discuss at a later meeting. What else did we do?
We had the restorative justice presentation.
Oh yeah, the restorative justice program.
We had a MTSS intervention presentation.
Yep.
And then Brian talked about the Sudbury.
Yes. Yep. So all good things happening there.
And there's a great article by Sophia in today's Rutland Herald.
Thank you. Awesome. Can't wait to see it.
Nice work.
Awesome. All right. Other business for future consideration. I think we got enough going on with the stuff I just moved forward. Do you want to say anything about your superintendent's announcements?
Just keep up with legislation and the Agency of Education. I mentioned the outreach. We will be getting more information about the Transcend Rural Career Connected Collaborative. We'll be getting our press release information this week. So we'll be able to share that with everyone and let people know that we are one of 10 school districts from around the country of 130 that applied who were selected for this 15-month grant. And we're really excited to expand it here in Vermont.
Great. We do need to have an executive session for a student matter, but I will say that our next meeting is Tuesday, February 17th at 6 o'clock. Our annual district meeting is Wednesday, February 25th, 6:30 in the library. And so at this time, I need someone to make a motion to enter executive session at 8:50.
Before the meeting, before the executive session,
Yeah.
I would like to express my appreciation to Braden for participating in the board.
Thank
I think
Yep.
his insight today was particularly helpful,
Yep.
and I think it will be immediately put into use, and I really enjoyed that participation, and I encourage you to keep doing this. So thank you.
I did have a question.
Sure.
I'm not familiar with all the terms, so what is the difference from a regular session and an executive session?
So a regular session is where we talk in public and we discuss everything that we need to do. There are certain things that we go into executive session where it's only the board that discusses without the public here. Usually student matters, personnel matters, something of a legal nature that we can't discuss with the voters yet.
For those, should I be here or?
So no, unfortunately, we are going to ask you to leave.
So
But we
you're
do.
good. Thank you
Yeah.
for being here.
Yeah.
And I shared with Lori Sienna's request.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about it on Friday, and then we'll present that out at a different meeting.
And it'll be right after school ends and here like
Yeah,
usual?
the early release time. Yeah, I'll be here.
One last question I have.
Yes.
When you're talking about stuff like Cavalry am I allowed any input on
Oh,
that?
absolutely.
I
Yes.
just wasn't sure if it was like strictly limited to.
No, you can talk
students.
anytime during public meeting.
Okay.
I won't shut you down. Sorry, I shut them down. They were being.
You're a member of the board.
Yeah.
Fine. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
All right. Thank you very much. All right. So entering executive session at 8:51.
I just need a motion
Well,
to be made.
We need to read it. I guess I'll read it since I foolishly put my hand.
Okay.
Hold on, do I need to get all of,
Well, we need the
everybody else?
motion first.
We just need the motion to go into executive session based on the student matter.
I so move.
Fernanda, and a second?
Second.
Lori,
Yeah.
I think if you want me to join you, you have to include me.
All right. We'll include Brenda and Renee. And Brian.
Barbara.
Well, yeah. Well, they'll be here anyway. But
My name is Brian Crane, by the way. I'm the Director of Student Support Services.
right. Yeah. So we'll keep you too.
Okay, so let me.
Hang on a second, we're not ready.
So
If I have any follow-ups tomorrow, can I give you
Yeah.
both a call?
Give us a
Yeah.
call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
No.
All right. So executive session 8:52. What?